All right, Broncos country. It is another weekend edition of Mile High Monsters. And joining me as always, Colin Cronin of the Dublin to Denver podcast. Colin, good to see you, man. How you doing, brother?
I'm not too shabby at all, Mike. We are, another week closer to real football as opposed to whatever passes for, the friendly exchange. We call it in soccer, we call it a friendly. In rugby, they'd call it a test match. But this is not real football.
It's real football, Colin. It's on the field with real football players. Get on board, baby. Let's go.
To Mile High Monsters.
All right, Broncos country, that's enough of that. Colin, it is real football, and we have real players to talk about. But before, let's talk about the exhibition game the Broncos played. Not their best outing, but Colin, I'm sure you watched every minute of it and watched film and did an all 22. Or maybe you just watched the highlights. I don't know. But Bo Nix looked pretty darn good out there, you have to admit, in his first game back on the bionic ankle.
Yeah, I think that is probably the biggest takeaway from all of this is how good Bo looked on his return. That was great to see. Kind of made every throw that you would want. Went quite well with Davis Webb, you would have to say. And that's the positive out of the other night, but that's a big positive. Like, look, we think about Mike Carmellini, the years between, right, the wilderness years, right, after Peyton rides off into the sunset, Peyton Manning, and all of the nonsense that we would see.
The carousel, remember the carousel?
The carousel, the fake camp battles, Broncos PR creating their own monster, all of those things. So look, I would that was a really important piece for Bo to go out there. Unsurprisingly, Bo to Jalen Waddle was a very nice piece to see. Real players are going to do, are going to stand out during preseason, and they did. And then Bo left the game, and then yeah.
Yeah, and then it looked, you know what? It looked like it shouldn't have looked. Colin, in the preseason, this is where you see quarterbacks of questionable ability kind of go off, and it's like, oh, wow, look at what we've got here. This guy's the next Joe Montana. This guy's the next John Elway in the preseason. And we didn't see that from Stidham or Ellinger. That's a little depressing. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about it's time for some of these players maybe to get down the road. I see already we've got Broncos fan 1030. Broncos had plenty of time to fix the issues, but they didn't. Inside linebacker, super slow. Can't get off blocks versus the run. Can't cover anything. Why is Brandon Jones and Hufanga making all the tackles? That is on the list, my brother. We'll get into that. Jay and Dak are in the chat. Love to see that. Zach Wilson is available for trade at QB2. I had that on my list of thoughts. It's like you're reading my mind, Jay. So yeah, we're going to talk about that. Colin, let's finish up with the game. I know you don't like talking about preseason games, but sometimes things rear their ugly heads that do come back to haunt teams. Things carry over from the preseason to the regular season sometimes. And one thing I saw again was, what Broncos fan 1030 brought up was the inside linebacker play generally across the board, even though they're not scheming, even though they're playing vanilla defense, they look slow. They looked passive. There were a few plays where I saw, for instance, Singleton had the right read on a run play and then just stood where he was 5 yards downfield and waited for the running back to come to him. That bothers me. I want linebacker that shoots the hole and stops the play where it is. When you make the tackle 5 yards down the field, it doesn't do it for me. It's like anybody can do that. But penalties were another one, special teams, gaffes. Other than the first team offense, it wasn't a good outing for the team. Gives them something to talk about, but generally healthy except for Riley Moss. We'll see what's up with that. I still haven't heard an update. But did you have – I hate asking you this question. Did you have any takeaways from the friendly match between the Packers and the Broncos on Friday night?
And that the latest comment that's come in is in ways the takeaway, right? In that Stidham will not be let go. The issue right now, I've defended Sean, against some of the charges that some Broncos fans have been very annoyed. I think he's done an incredible job. But if Sean Payton has a blind spot, a weakness, it tends to be if you're a Sean Payton guy, you get to stick around. And that's the issue right now at QB2, and it's also the issue on special teams, because Rizzy is his guy, and Rizzy has been an issue. And I know you like the guy, and he's fine from a short distance. And look, Harrison Butker, granted K-ball, kicked a 69-yard field goal.
Yeah.
Okay. Now he also missed a 43-yarder and a point after attempt. Right. I'm not ignoring that, but the distance has totally changed in the league. And that is a piece just to file, right? Because he won't be alone in that. And just remember that when we get into the playoffs, which I expect the Broncos to get to, despite what Jared Bailey says. But that's a piece, right? Because who gets the ball last? You don't have to move the ball very far now, especially with those new kickoff rules, right? If kickers are regularly, and we've seen it, but because right, you don't have to go back that far, right? 9 years ago, 50 yards was, anything over 50 was impressive. Now, right, it's anything over 60. And could we be at the point, Mike, where anything over 65 is it takes it to be over 65 for it to be impressive? I wouldn't be surprised if we were to get there this year. But I do think my concerns, right, and you and I have been talking about this, and Stuart and I were banging the drum for the inside linebacker position is a real concern. Rizzy has been a concern for me since last year, and QB2. We talked about this last week, right? And I said, I talked about how I have no faith. Stiddy City was great fun. I've banged the drum on this. People might be sick of hearing this, but we see it time and time again. Teams know exactly how to play Jarrett Stidham, and if they can do this to him, playing vanilla defense, right? What is going to happen if he has to come in? Now, fingers crossed, we never ever see Jarrett Stidham doing more than holding a clipboard and taking a kneel down, right? That would be my hope. But if we do have to see him, it's a real issue. And we talked last week about how our friend Zach Seegers has highlighted that, you do need to have some options, that you can't go by the old Tom Moore adage about, if 18 goes down, it's a different league now. So you've got to have something, and that the Broncos don't have anything. They've nothing at QB2 and they've nothing at QB3. So that those my concerns. My concerns now, right, as we sit here today, were my concerns in February, in March, in April, in May, in June, in July. They're still my concerns in August, and they'll be my concerns in September when the season starts.
They carry over. That's why I brought this up. Look, I think there's a few players that we could probably say goodbye to. I'm ready to fix this roster with you. Now, I'll depend on the chat to tell us who to replace them with, but I know who I'm firing off of this team right now. I'm not a conspiracy theory.
Did we lose Mike?
Yeah, I'm willing to entertain Mac Wilson. Yeah, we freeze up. Don't worry about it. We're back. We just keep going. We're like Bo Nix. Nothing stops us. Not even a broken ankle. Jackson, David Youngkin, Dreamweaver, Jay, Dak, 1030. A lot of monsters in the chat. Cornbread finally showed up late. Stetson Bennett, Spencer Rattler, he's one. Jack Plummer, Tanner McKee. I don't know how many times you've typed Tanner McKee Cornbread, but you can probably do it with your eyes closed by now. Yeah. So we'll see. Slim comes in and says, how you guys doing today? We're doing good, man. Good to see everybody in the chat. Thanks for coming in. Colum, you draw a crowd, man. You are the you're the favorite. You're the pet of Monsters country, I guess. So good to see everybody in here today. G-Man's in here too. We'll get to you. We'll get to all the chat. But let's look, man. Let's start with Jared Stidham, shall we? I'm going to bring this up. He's number one. It's time to let him go. It's time to move on. I know he's a Sean Payton guy. But look, man, I think there's better options out there for the team. He hasn't shown that he can be trusted. Even in the preseason, this is where a quarterback, quote unquote, a 30-year-old quarterback in his 8th year should be able to just dial up and go off on in the preseason. And he throws a pick, a bad throw late. He's never comfortable, when the pressure's on, and the pressure is going to be on in the regular season. Now, I'm not even talking about playoffs, but Osweiler, Bubby Brister, all had to play during the regular season in those Super Bowl years. And Bubby Brister, although on a great team, was 6-0. Osweiler, I think, was 5-2. It could be important, and it could come back to haunt a team. That I think the margins will be a little closer this year. Colin, frankly, 14-3 was fortunate for this team last year. A lot of comebacks, a lot of miracle plays. This year is a very tough schedule. Everybody knows what's coming. It could be closer. It could be closer in the West. It could be closer in the AFC for that number one seed. And that's what we want. We want a home playoff game. A loss or two from a backup quarterback in the regular season could change the playoff field dramatically this year. And so my number one guy to send down the road would be Jared Stidham, and bring in at least somebody with the potential to make a play or two. Spencer Rattler is one I like. I still like Zach Wilson. I know but I'd rather have him than Jared Stidham at this point. What are your thoughts on being done with Jared? I know you thought last week you called him a steaming turd.
I did. I was more reticent in what I said. It was a PG show. But if you look back, we did talk about how it was a real issue, not having a good backup. So this is not a piece that has just emerged this week. Look, I think that Zach Wilson is with the Saints. Whether they're he didn't. I think people thought that he was going to win out. Certainly some Saints fans were really calling for him. He didn't have the best of games either. But he knows Sean Payton. It depends on what they're going to do there. There isn't a massive amount out there currently. Now there might be guys who shake free because we are coming down to the 53 and decisions will have to be made. But I think that whether he wants to come back or not, would Jimmy Garoppolo backed up Matthew Stafford the last couple of years? I'm not a massive Jimmy G fan, right? But as a plug and play option, if the worst happens, he's a guy who's been around the league. You want somebody, I suppose, who either has incredible traits, right, that you can potentially lean on, or a guy who has a decent bit of experience and isn't going to do something stupid like try, some sort of shovel pass, and give the Patriots football. So Jimmy G's issue with, hasn't been the stupidity, right? It's been that at the top level, he tends, not to be able to get it done, right? He had the opportunity, to hit Emmanuel Sanders and win the Super Bowl for the Niners. He couldn't get it done. So that is a piece, I think, that, but as a regular season guy, if you need him to come in, that could be a piece potentially. Failing that, I think you're waiting to see what shakes out, because outside of him, you're looking at Jeff Driscoll, who is
He's already been a Bronco,
been here,
hasn't he?
right? Yeah, but has also who's also tried transitioning to tight end. That's not what you want. John Wolford, Dorian Thompson Robinson, Tim Boyle, Desmond Ridder. These are not great options. And this, you see, especially when it comes to QB, if you don't get it done, early, then you're really at the mercy of what might shake out when cuts are made, right?
Well, Jimmy G's a winning quarterback, Colin. I like that one. Now, he would be the best looking quarterback on the team, and that's always dangerous for your second string. But on a serious note, he's far enough in his career where he's not expecting to start anywhere. He could make a great number 2 quarterback.
Now, I think you would need Sean Payton to probably sell him on it, right? Because the last I heard, Mike, was that he was considering retirement.
Yeah.
I think if Sean Payton was to pick up the phone, that's a very different kind of conversation to be had. And I think what you end up with some of these guys, right, is they don't want to be, in mini camp or anything like that in June. So, I get it. In April, you might think, why do I want to put my body on the line and do all this stuff again? But in August, football is just around the corner, and somebody like Sean Payton picks up the phone and says, "Hey, listen, how about you come in? We are pushing for a Super Bowl ring here. You're going to be the backup. We hope you're not going to be playing, but we are like, for us, we were sight set on the Super Bowl, and do you want to be part of that?"
Yeah, I agree, 100%. David's been trying to sell me on Jimmy G the whole offseason, and I finally took like the last couple weeks for me to get on board. Just about for anybody, and that's not even to mention cap savings, because at this point, who really cares? That amount of money doesn't really matter to the team. But $6 million that you could roll over or use to work on another position. There's going to be some camp cuts all around the league, and I think this is where you might find some good solid pieces, at least depth pieces, and maybe, a diamond in the rough that a numbers game cost them. And another player, we just picked up Taylor Rapp. And so another player was our first free agent signing of the season, Tyson Anderson. He was brought in. I don't know why. I guess special teams depth or something. I've been calling for him to not be here all season, all off season anyway. And I don't know that he is going to be gone, but at this point, I don't know what else we do with him, Colin. We've got a safety room where we've got Hufanga and Jones, of course, and then Devin Key and Skinner are probably going to stay. I mean, really good special teams. Devin Key's come in and made plays for us several times. Skinner has done that as well. I know Key, the fumble in the Buffalo game last year in the playoffs. I don't remember what quarter it was, but Josh Allen, I think Benito kind of strips him of the ball as he's running, or he almost looks like he tosses it backwards. That was Devin Key that picked up that fumble. That was a huge play for us. And then, we just signed Rapp. So that's a full room I don't see where Tyson Anderson fits in. I don't think we need to make room for this guy. He's an easy guy to let walk here, but do you see any reason to keep him around in that room? I mean, you still and that's not even to mention Miles Scott, who will be on the practice squad, I'm sure, our draft pick. I just don't see any room for this guy at this point.
No, I don't. You know, you bring him in, you give a guy a chance. Maybe he absolutely shows out, you know, and you go from there. But I haven't seen it. And the fact they brought in Rap, I think, tells you that they haven't been overly impressed with what they have seen either. So, I difficult to see him, you know, making the 53.
And we don't need to spend a ton of time on him or that room. That room's going to shake out. I like this one from G-Man. He says Phillip Rivers would be a better backup option, even. And I've said it before. You know, at least we'd make sure every game is a sellout. Phillip Rivers would bring his kids, and the whole upper bowl would be full. But yeah, at 45 years old, yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I love that though. Cornbread says, when I hear podcasters defending keeping Stidham and they say, well, we'll lose with either one, you just defeated your own position. Yeah, I think teams generally go for the known. They go for what they think is safe. And then, you know, last thing I'll say on quarterbacks, at least right now, unless somebody comes up with something, you know, a player out there, Taysom Hill, obviously Rattler, Zach Wilson have been brought up. I mean, Phillip Rivers is a no, but, you know, we'll move on from that. I do want to get on to another player.
Yeah, I think he probably was brought in, right, as, you know, you want to see what a guy can do. He had been pretty good on special teams for the Bengals, and maybe they thought, you know, he could grow and develop, but it you know, it hasn't worked.
The fact that they went out and got Taylor Rapp, you know, PJ Locke is gone. They've been trying to fill that position and feel good about the backup safety. Obviously they didn't, because they made a move to sign someone else. And, you know, I think it's a numbers game. But Tyler Bidet, let's get into that running back room. Look, the running back room now looks, you know, full. If you think about the fullback like Prentice, then it's definitely overfilled. I don't see Tyler Bidet or Jaleel McLaughlin making the 53, certainly, but it's probably just time to move on. You know, if they stash these guys, Tyler Bidet is only he'll be in his fourth year, so he would be subject to waivers. I don't see anybody picking him up. I don't see anybody, you know, claiming him, but I don't see him making the team either. Thoughts on Bidet, McLaughlin? They can go. They're your Hobbit running backs that you've been complaining about for the last couple of seasons. We don't need these guys anymore.
They're unfortunately, like, look, you know, again, I say this with the knowledge that I am not playing in the NFL, never was playing in the NFL, but you judge people based on the other guys who play in the NFL. And the reality, unfortunately, is that they're Jags. They're just a guy. And then
Jags.
It would not matter who you put in. Like, neither of them move the needle in any way. Shape,
so you call them Jags. So you want this Jag off our team, is what you're saying.
I'm saying that it doesn't matter whether he is on, like,
yeah, it doesn't matter.
You know. Like, depending on what shakes out, you have a look and you see who, you know, but the reality is that unless you're talking about, you know, starters, the life of an NFL running back is so short.
Yeah.
And
most are like 2 years. Yeah.
So and a guy might have a you know, one really good year, and that might be it. But I don't see any reason in, you know, in keeping them around, other than they know it, they've been around, they know the playbook, they like that. Sean likes that, but
yeah. Cornbread official monster, by the way. David Yunkin, another monster. A lot of monsters in the chat today. Appreciate you being a member. Please, guys, don't forget to hit the like button. the videos have been blowing up, and that's because you guys always remember to hit the like, and then YouTube says, yay, let's send that to more people. So the subscriber count's going up, the views are going up. We appreciate it. We appreciate you guys, especially the members. Who G-Man is not a member. I don't know why. I got to talk to your kid and have him teach you how to become a member. G-Man, I see you. Colin, are you 4 foot tall, or is that mug from Texas?
So, it is indeed. It is a giant mug. If maybe people can see.
Hang on a second. I want to get this a little bit bigger because I want to see what do we got here.
It's from Bass Pro. I want to complete. I have a couple of them. They're my favorite mugs. They're amazing for tea and coffee. But I can't get them over here. Which is very.
We do everything big in America. Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean everything. Okay.
Indeed.
I gotta do that again. Okay. So no, I've actually Colin and I have a picture together right here at the Carmellini Ranch, and I'm pretty sure Colin is a little taller than me, and I'm 6 feet tall. So he's not
just a
smidge taller than.
Truly, a ranch. Yeah, that out in the boonies.
It is. Yeah, it's an undisclosed location. Very few people know where the Carmellini Ranch and studios are located, and you're one of them. David Youngkin, one of my favorite guys, and official monster. Will the 2 UFL players be on the 53 or practice squad? Well, Hakeem Butler is one. Column. Remind me who the other one is, guys. I can't think of who it is, which might either that means they're not going to make it, or I can't.
Sean Fresh, right?
Sean Fresh. I think Sean Fresh has a shot at the practice squad. I think Hakeem Butler is going to be cut and sent. He has not looked good at all. He would have to, David. He would have to absolutely go off. This next week in practice and the last preseason game. He's this 6'5", 250-pound wide receiver, whatever he is, 30 years old, so he's got that working against him. And then in the contested catch area where this is where you would expect him to do something, he has not used his body in a way. He has not beaten anyone. I don't think he's even made a catch in a game. It hasn't been good for him. So I don't see either one of them certainly making the 53. I don't have either of them on the 53. And I don't even have Hakeem on the practice squad at this point. So G-Man, who's just freeloading here. One of my favorite people in the world, though. Do you think the Broncos would consider bringing in a tight end who gets cut from another team? We're about to get to the tight ends, I'm afraid. In our cuts, but yeah, I think they might. Okay, let's get back to the cuts. Look at us, 28 minutes in. Look, man, the Drew Sanders experiment has to be over. He came in. This is his 4th year. I think he's had like 20 snaps or something. 27 tackles. So he's played a few games, but look, it's been a few years now. He played in the preseason, the week before, and then we haven't seen him since. It's probably going to be all over for Drew, unfortunately. But I think we're done holding roster spots down for a Drew Sanders who can't stay on the field for more than 3 or 4 plays. It's unfortunate, but Colin, I think this experiment might be over for the Broncos too.
Yeah, the sad reality is that guy can't not stay healthy, and the old adage of the best ability being availability, that is true. I mean, look, if you're Joe Burrow, then you can get away with missing time year in, year out. But if you are, unless that is the case, then it's going to be a real issue. And given how quick they were to move on from Greenlaw because of his injury issues, I just look, it these guys work so hard to try to do it, and then your body just leaves you down. But it's a brutal business, but teams
Yeah.
are they're going to do what works best for them, and that's the sad reality.
Yep. And stop me if you've heard this one before. Lucas Krull. This is a Sean guy, obviously. Fourth year, 6'6", 260. He's 28 years old. Best player on the team a couple years ago, according to Cecil Lammy. 2 receptions for 15 yards last year. I mean, he doesn't do really anything well, but it's hard for me to judge tight ends on this team because they don't seem to use anyone, no matter who's in there. But I'm guessing this roster spot, I don't know. Maybe they stash him on the practice squad, but I mean, I'd be fine with with this one down the road. I have a couple tight ends on this list of people that need to go. I said 5. I had 5 people that I need to get rid of. I think I've got like 8. And Lucas Krull's one of them because I think we need to bring in Taysom Hill and put him on the practice squad and then have him as our emergency quarterback and him as our tight end and him as our wildcat runner. I know that's my crazy take, but what are your thoughts on getting rid of Lucas Krull? Doesn't move the needle either way, I'm assuming.
No, of all the people we decided to bring back, that was the one. It's like, what?
Yeah, it's just Sean with his guys and cornbread. Does Bentley suck? He's gotten 0 targets, or the coach is ignoring the tight end room. I think it's a bit of both. I don't think Bentley sucks, and I think it's obvious that he doesn't, just based on what I watch from him. I think he's a good football player. He probably has a lot to learn. His head's probably swimming, but I don't know what they're doing with tight ends yet, cornbread. I think he's on the practice squad. So, but Lucas Krull, you got to go. And one more pet project, Caleb Lohner. Look, man, I don't care if he's 6'7", 250. Maybe, I guess, if Sean wants to toy with him one more year on the practice squad, who cares? But I don't want him. I don't want any more tweets or DMs or messages about how Caleb Lohner is going to be our red zone weapon for the next 5 years and he's going to be unstoppable. I mean, he can't even make a catch in the preseason. He can't stay on the field. Colm, do you have any trouble if I boot Caleb Lohner back to the WNBA or something?
Look, I can get it in some ways. If he was an absolute standout and you decided you were going to take a chance on this guy just to see, but it would appear that it was kind of purely off of size. Now, go back, right? For people, please go back and have a look at some of the things that were said about Caleb Lohner when we first drafted him. Please go back to April of 2025. Look at some of the nonsense. Those are the people who write that and then try to tell you anything about the Broncos. Those are the people to distrust. Those are the people to take no notice of, right? And you saw it again in May of this year, right? With the rookie camp and how they tried to big him up. And again, I would urge people, go and look who wrote that nonsense, right? Because it was nonsense then. It was complete nonsense. Absolute nonsense. And those
hyperbole. We call that hyperbole.
Hyperbole, at least it would be interesting. This was propaganda. Pravda wouldn't have printed some of the stuff that was said about him. So no, I think please let's move on from this guy who, he's a freakish size. He was going to be a red zone threat. That's all very well in theory. But we're talking about the NFL. We're talking about the freakiest of the freaks. The guy, like, just because he's 6'7", doesn't matter. Like, the way the cornerbacks and safeties move, Shaq could try catching a touchdown pass and he wouldn't be able to. Like, that's the reality. Like, this was great fun in theory. A bit like Steady City. The theory was fun. The reality, much less so.
Look, these pet projects of Sean, I'm not going to get too riled up over Caleb Lohner, But yeah, let's be honest. It's astronomical. The chances are that he's actually going to develop into an NFL player. It's like traits only get you so far. Like it's actually, you need to know how to play football to play football, and he doesn't really know how to play football, and he's not healthy. So Bluesford believes in Caleb Lohner. Based on what? I mean, there's just no evidence to support that. I mean, it's a fun story, but it's I've seen nothing to support, keeping him on. It depends on who they boot off to keep him on, if they keep him on too. I mean, the practice squad never riles me up that much, because generally you're going to have a bunch of players on there that you're never going to hear from again. You can't name the 17 players that were on the practice squad last year unless you look them up.
A bunch of players you're never going to hear from again, and little Jordan Humphrey.
And little Jordan Humphrey. That's right. And, Prentice, maybe. So there'll be a few. Slim's with me, and Bluesford says Sean's word is why he believes in Caleb Lohner. I mean, he said it was night and day from last year to this year, but that's like being taller than Danny DeVito, as Colin would tell you. It's not saying much. He improved from last year. All right.
Sean said nice things about Audric Estime as well.
You know what happened to him? Here's the kind of the all-star class of. Look, man, I defended Alex 2 years ago. I said he was going to do really great with Greenlaw next to him. That Hufanga was going to help him, and it just hasn't worked out. I think it's time we look. From what I've seen from Corrine Reed, from the potential of, as G-Man would say, that even just the potential of Red Murdoch, I'm almost at the point now where they could cut Alex Singleton and it wouldn't bother me at all. He looks so slow. He looks confused. He doesn't know where he's going. It's crazy that he looks that much slower than he did last year, and he's not even tired yet. It's still the preseason. I don't know. We need to at least look at replacing him sometime during the season. I think this position is going to be a real problem for us, and I think it's time. If there's any professional inside linebacker that gets cut, post camp, post preseason, before the season, we need to look at bringing somebody in here. Colin, what are your thoughts on Alex Singleton and what value he brings to this team, if anything?
I think it's going to be very difficult to see him cut, though. The dead cap on him is enormous. Alex is. I've had the opportunity to talk to him a few times, to interview him. He's a great guy, okay, and he's a hard worker and really phenomenal story. But he just. I think he was never the quickest guy. He was always willing to do it, but again, the NFL is so tough because like the way we talked about the kicks, right? The 40 times are dropping. Okay, guys are getting bigger, stronger, faster. I don't know how big Daft Punk were in the States, but that song. So you are going up against guys coming in who are quick and moving, and again, certainly what we've seen so far has he has really struggled, but I think that contract means this year is a really difficult one to get out of, because your dead cap is like 11 million on him, and I just don't know if they're willing to do that. So we'll see. We'll see around what they might do, because again, VJ tends to like his guys, and it's tough to see them moving on. But that was one where when the contract, when he was given the contract that he was, it was a surprise. It was a real surprise to see him given the contract that he was. So, I I think I think it is a huge issue. I think that the middle linebacker is a real problem. Like, we're not talking about a guy who, and this is kind of unfair because he was a total freak, but we're not talking about a guy who reads the game like Luke Kuechly, right?
Yeah.
There and people I've seen, right, some comments. It's funny on Reddit and in recent
Don't go on
this
Reddit.
summer,
Yeah.
just
You
to
should never go
take
on.
a look to laugh, right? You take a look to laugh, and so people saying like, how did Luke Kuechly get into the Hall of Fame given he retired? So it's like, did you see how
Watch him
Kuechly
play.
did? Watch him play, like this guy, like that's
Yeah.
why I say the freakiest of the freaks, right? Like the what he was able to do, and obviously he is the top tier, right? He is the S tier, whatever you want to call it. Like, he is the gold standard. But if you are not the quickest guy in the world, then your reading of the game has to be absolutely exceptional. Alex Singleton tries. Now, he tries. He really does. He gives every but he's often in the wrong position. We know he makes the tackle, but they're not in their backfield. They're in our backfield.
Yeah. Brian Baldinger commented on him when he was asked about Alex Singleton, and he said, "Well, he makes a lot of tackles, but they're all 7 yards down the field." So, and that's kind of what you get with Alex Singleton. And Broncos country likes a lot of things. They like their quarterbacks, they like them playmakers, and they like their middle linebackers to be hitters, make plays, and be impactful. And we don't have that now. I'm not saying that Alex Singleton gets fired this year or needs to be fired before the season. It's not reasonable, but at some point this season, I think he probably needs to be replaced in the starting lineup. I think he's a liability to the defense. Now, I don't think you can cut him. He just might have to accept a backup role at 32 years old, slowing down. Obviously, he's been through a lot health wise, and I hope he's in good shape. And he is an awesome guy, awesome linebacker in the locker room. I get all that, but the play on the field, I don't see it. I don't see him being good enough to hold some of these other guys off. But we'll see. That might be saying something about the rest of the room. And speaking of the rest of the room, Adam Troutman, who was signed to another 3-year contract, definitely a Sean Payton guy. He's going to be 30 years old. He's fine, Colm, as your third, tight end. I don't know, but he's our number one tight end. And maybe this isn't so much about Adam Troutman as it is about the room. Now that we brought in Justin Joly, Dolan Bentley, of course we have Krull still in the wings if we need him. Evan Ingram, who you don't like, and I'm becoming more ambivalent about. We'll see when the season starts if things come to fruition. But I guess putting our trust and money into Adam Troutman was like the Singleton signing. It was like, what are we doing here? I don't understand this. Again, it's the Sean Payton guy thing, but look, we need to move on from him and get a proper, dual threat blocking tight end. We should have invested in that in the offseason, and we didn't. And here's what we've got. It's time.
Yeah, it's like, these are problems that are not going to get solved probably before the start of this season, but it absolutely is. And again, it goes back, as you have said, Sean likes his guys, and Sean likes guys who do their job and do what Sean wants them to do. And I think Troutman is absolutely that kind of guy, but in terms of does he do such a good job that you had to give him that size of a contract or that length of a contract? Does the you know, I haven't seen it, but you know, and again, we're not everybody, not every tight end can be George Kittle, but you need them to offer you something. But look, he's a guy. They clearly know that there are issues with the tight end room. We've talked about that. The number of guys that they have drafted, but they've drafted very late. You know, they seem to be trying to address it in the late rounds, and I think next year is a year where they need to look to address it earlier. I'm not saying they have to go out and get a first round guy, but you know, you may be looking second or third round and bringing a guy in, because it's an enormous weakness when you look like the QB. You know, Bo Nix scares other teams, right? You have plenty of media members who are annoyed by Bo Nix because he proved them wrong, and they hate that, right?
Yeah.
And so they'll continue to hammer him. The running back room will scare opponents, right? They will worry about Dobbins. They will worry now about Jonah Coleman. The wide receivers, definitely. You know, how do you go about, you know, winning a contested catch with Cortland Sutton? How do you stop Waddle? The O-line, the starters are pretty solid. And then the tight end room, and the tight end room is not going to scare anyone at all. Whatsoever. So that is the weakness for sure. And we haven't seen anything, I don't believe, in the off season, neither in training camp nor in preseason, to suggest that it's going to be very different come the regular season.
I like the chat is always great. How do you judge a meagerly used room? Exactly. I mean, that's the problem. It is hard to know where the problem's coming from. And it's just that, like, Troutman has there's this narrative about him, or people talk about him like he's this great blocker, like he's our blocking tight end, but he's not a very good blocker. He's okay. And to your other point, Cornbread, how, you know, he had fewer drops. Well, he had fewer targets too, but his percentage of drops, you know, certainly Ingram was much worse in drops last year. It was almost like 10% or something like that. But, you know, Troutman actually has pretty reliable hands. I like Troutman, but if we're not getting, you know, we had opportunities to get a really good player in this offseason, and we didn't go out and do that. And we signed Troutman to 2 years. Like, it's almost like, no, they're just happy with this not even middle of the pack guy. He's like I said, if he was our second or third tight end, I'd be fine with it, but he's not. T Fishes, we can trade Troy Franklin for Tommy Tremble and a 6th. He's significantly better than Adkins in blocking and produce 300 yards receiving. Yeah, that's Jamari Johnson from Oregon, should be our draft pick next year. Well, that's getting way ahead of me. Needing to move on from Frank Crum. By the way, Hoop Coach, good to see you. Appreciate you coming in. Frank Crum had a really bad game last week, by the way. All right, I got one more for you, Colin. I don't know how popular this one's going to be. I think we need to move on from John Cooper. Look, man, I know he had 8 sacks last year. He didn't really do anything later. I don't know if as the kids like to say, I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze on Jonathan Cooper here. I still see a 6 to 8 game suspension coming up for him. We've got a good room there. Look, man, I don't like what I saw. You know, on the charges. Innocent until proven guilty is great for court, but obviously, you know, he did the things he did. He admitted to the things he did. And his play on the field is fine. I think it's a bad look to keep him. I guess I don't really know what else to say on that. I think maybe this is just me. Maybe it's more of a personal issue for me, but I'm ready to move on from Jonathan Cooper. Let him be somebody else's problem. Colin, you disagree? Do you think this player should stay based on his play, and we should overlook, the issues with him, the current issues, his legal issues?
There's what I think, and there's what the team thinks, and I think
I'm asking you what you think, not what you think the team thinks or what you think
I
think we should do.
we talked about this. I've said to you before, if you've got a friend and the friend makes a mistake, yeah, okay, you back the friend. But if you tell the friend, do not under any circumstances do X, and then they go and do X, well, then you've got a real problem on your hands. But I'm also aware that in the NFL, teams care about winning, and they will be willing to look beyond that if they feel that a player helps them. And you go back to Teron Arnold, right? And look at the Seahawks, right? And we've all seen that, if people haven't, right, check it out on Hard Knocks. Now, the interesting thing is that the deal hasn't gone through, right? And it was announced a week ago, so it may well have hit a snag. But this is where teams weigh it up, and this is why I'm talking like where the Cooper piece, right? Because you kind of get a peek behind the curtain, right? Because the Lions decided to move on, and then you saw the Seahawks GM talk about if he had been in that situation, he saw the report, he'd probably have done it, but when he was out there and they needed a cornerback, well, then they made a move. Now, they've also brought Diggs in, so I think that maybe tells you that there's something in the background, and they realized that maybe they had talks with the NFL, and they realized he'd go straight onto the commissioner's exempt list, so he's not going to be able to practice. He's not going to be able to do anything. So they're waiting to see how that plays out. But we also heard during Hard Knocks that there were 6, 7, 8 teams in the running, right? So that's
his agent talking. Come on.
But if the Seahawks are the reigning champions, right? The Seahawks have a mastermind, right? A defensive mastermind as a head coach, right? This is McDonald has kind of taken the mantle a little bit, I suppose. He's the new Vic Fangio, right? Everybody is looking at him and looking at what he's doing and how he's going about his business, and then wants, that's what they're kind of copying. So he is the Sean McVay, right? They're still Vic Fangio in the same way, right? That they're still Andy Reid and they're still Sean Payton, but now they're Sean McVay. So, but they look to McDonald. So the fact that he's willing to bring that guy in, right? And it maybe if we hadn't seen Schneider on the phone and we hadn't seen that they were willing to do it, right? This isn't the Browns doing it, right? This is the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Now, I would love to know what's going on in the background. Obviously, they just sold, for a whole host of money, right? So, is there something there? I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I do know that teams they will do what is going to win them the most games. That is, unless they're forced to do otherwise. So I think that's why I say, when I say it, I'm saying that, there's a whole host of factors to weigh up, or that will be weighed up. Yeah. I might think, yeah, not for me. I'd have said, good luck. But teams are teams, and the NFL is the NFL, and it's not just the NFL, right? I see it, about the
Don't try and read the comments when I put them up there.
Across all sports, I see what that this is what teams do. They will look beyond it if it helps them get a result.
Yeah, I mean, they're in the business of winning, and so of course, if there's any way they can keep these guys, they will, and it works both ways. Like Broncos fan 1030 says, and it's always good to see you in here, my man. You were first one in the chat today. I think you have to take your personal feelings out both ways. Now, I'm not here trying to speak for the team. I'm just here speaking as someone who's been watching this team, wants to do what's best for it. I don't have a personal, it's not.
If Mike tries speaking for the team, the coordinates of the Carmellini Ranch will One Piece Mike will hunt him down.
Yeah. And also the new stadium would be right over here next to my house. If I was, if I had anything to do with it. Savion Jones might get cut. He is a player on roller skates out there. Yeah, I don't think he gets cut, but I think he's in trouble. He's got was he a second rounder coach? I think he was. So he's got some, he's got a long leash, but yeah, he's in danger. He's just not developing, hasn't done anything yet. When they start, signing somebody new, then you'll know. But yeah, he's not shown out. Slims says he's with me again on Jonathan Cooper. There's TW, good to see you. 413 says, what's up, fellas? What's up, man? Ron Arter, we brought in Rapp. He's trouble on and off the field, kind of like Talib was, but we kept Talib because he was great on the field. I want to see what the judge says, but that's me. Yeah, I mean, we're all just speaking for ourselves. Cornbread says dysfunctional relationships. You're looking at one right here. This relationship, very dysfunctional. I got a text. I got a text. Your column says I think I should go to Dublin and do a live show together in a good Irish bar with you. Are there any bad Irish bars? I think they're all pubs.
Not many. Just to go back to Ron's point, like the Talib piece, I think is telling, right? Because Talib was a lunatic, right, on and off the field. And I someday, it may be in the fullness of time, we'll find out what exactly happened when he shot himself outside the strip club. Sure, he shot himself. Gun just happened to go off, but. It's everything that he brought as well, right? The chain snatching, but and people have probably heard me tell. I love that story about, and I think that's part of why the Broncos win Super Bowl 50 is in the warm up. Talib walks out onto the field and he sees Broncos talking to Panthers, and he's like, no, you can do that afterwards, not now. They're the enemy. And you need that kind of lunacy a little bit. But, that's where, again, the teams will weigh it up. Bill Belichick, had enough of that. And he moved him on. And Talib was phenomenal for us and gave the greatest post-game locker room interview of all time. That will never be beaten when Chris Harris was taken out and it was a sorry play by a sorry player, and we share the same agent, so the next time I see him I'm going to beat his ass.
Yeah, that was the best. You know what, Ron, I will say, like, a lot of these guys, they're not perfect angels, but and trouble that's a big spectrum. There's a difference between being trouble, being a little disruptive, maybe being a little wild, and then having 4 felony counts against you and other things. So I don't know. Add drugs and eventually you'll cook yourself. Cooper is the master of his reality and his friends, the second mates. I don't know about the drugs. Colin and I do like caffeine, nicotine. For me, he's got his tea.
Copious amounts of caffeine.
Yeah. Who are the 5 players? I'm late, my bad. Well, go back and watch it. It was a great show. As G-Man says, great discussion today. Mike and Colin, you guys are the best. Well, okay. We'll keep you around.
I think you got at the end. If TW hangs around, I think you can do a roundup of the five. Maybe
I
at the
will.
end.
I'll
Give
round
him
them
that.
all up
Give him
for you,
that.
TW. Of course I will. So co-host of this program, David Talks Broncos, David Marshall says, hi guys, hit the like button. Yeah, you guys know the drill. Hit the like, please. Steezy, official monster. I know he'll hit the like button. Cornbread always does. And he'll share the stream on Twitter. It smelled like marijuana in the house. So yeah, of course he was smoking weed. But look, if you kicked every player off of the NFL teams who smoked weed right now, you would not be able to fill up the rosters. That's how rampant it is in the NFL. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. And TW, I will do one better. I will actually do a quick run through of everyone I cut. I cut Jared Stidham, which Colin and I agreed on. I cut Tyson Anderson from the safety room. Tyler Bidet. Look, when you change the pronunciation from Batty and Beatty to Bidet, I started questioning you. Because, look, maybe you didn't know. Maybe you didn't know what a bidet was but look, I'm just saying that's not the move. Drew Sanders. Now, then into the bonus round, we've got Lucas Krull. Your guy, your favorite guy, Caleb Lohner, Blucifer, that's your guy. John Cooper, sorry, mate. Alex Singleton. That's going to cut Broncos country right down the middle. And I'm not saying it's going to be this year, but it's time to move on from him. Adam Troutman. Look, if you're going to keep him, at least get a real tight end on the team. Fine. If three tight end set, 2 tight end set, have him on there. But look, he's just not doing it for me. So there's your recap, TW. That was just for you. Coach says Mike is the calmest and most level-headed Broncos media personality. Colin Cronin, you heard it here first. How does that make you feel when you hear that?
I think given
you,
some
Coach.
of the Broncos media personalities, that might be winning a Danny DeVito contest. No, we know Mike is great. There's a reason I do a show with you and I don't do a show with other members of Broncos media.
Well, I appreciate you, Coach. G-Man, of course. I appreciate you as well. Look,
just before we get out of here, because we will need to get out of here. I just thought I know that there's a Broncos show, but it will be interesting to watch over the next week or so, right? Let's enjoy the fact that we have our QB.
You're going to talk about Cleveland, aren't you?
I'm going to talk about Cleveland. Yeah, I am, because my goodness. Oh boy.
Well, we've been there. I mean, just a few years ago, we would have been there. Name your QB battle.
This is sensational. I mean, every time, and obviously, look, there's the Shador Colorado link. So I'm sure there are plenty of guys watching this that watch Shador, and everything that went on. And last week, I mean, I thought, and look, he's young. But he made the comments. He threw the interception, and he was asked about it, and he said, "No, I did everything right. Everything I do is great." And I thought, "Oh wow, this is a kind of a lack of self-awareness." And then I thought, "Wow, surely somebody on the Browns can't make oh wow, Deshaun Watson. I don't see how he can be the starter given." What he has said. It's phenomenal. And when you listen to Browns beat reporters, and again, recognize with a lot of the beat reporters, they're reporting what the team wants them to report, right? They're not all Troy Rank, okay? They're the Troy Ranks of the world are few and far between. and they're talking about him, talking himself out of the starting job. So I think that is a very interesting one, right? Because just the lack of self-awareness and what he said, and also like his play has fallen off a cliff. But also I wanted to mention Cleveland. Also another absolute disaster is the Vikings, right? And JJ McCarthy, I mean, I going by, they're certainly exploring the possibility of trying to move him on, so that he's not in the building, because again, you had fans, and you kind of had this kind of mini Drew Lock monster created, where people believe he should be the starter, and you just got to give him a chance, ignoring the fact that he's
The
brutal.
chance that you already gave him.
And I think it's just funny to look at that, right? And maybe people can see, when it's on another team and it's not so close to you, you can see how the media manipulation works. You can see how leaks work. You can see the way in which things change. And I think that is very interesting. I also thought, just one more thing on the Vikings, Bucky Brooks saying that Kevin O'Connell shouldn't say that Kyler Murray can't see over the line. Why would you criticize a coach for actually being honest? Because a lot of the time they aren't, right? Kyler has said that himself in the past, plenty, right? So this is not a new phenomenon. But why would you hammer a coach for telling the truth? I mean,
for clicks or for attention. He doesn't really believe that.
Yeah, I know that, but it's just frustrating, right? Because the one thing we would like is coaches actually being honest and being forthright. The word, be much better if they could be that. But if you're going to do that
for doing it,
right.
Yeah.
If you're going to like Bucky Brooks doing that is going to mean that Kevin O'Connell and other coaches are going to be less likely to do it, because why take the flack,
It's hard to blame coaches and players for giving bad interviews. Anything they say can and will be used them in the court of public opinion, and that's the problem with it. And then, of course, Patrick Smythe is always like a hawk in the rafters, looking down at everyone, seeing what they ask, seeing what is said, and ready to cut them off. So, God bless the few media members that do ask the real questions in there. And then, honestly, Sean Payton, I think we're pretty lucky with him. He'll go.
Oh yeah.
He'll go some where he just doesn't have the patience and he won't answer anything. But then he's got some very revealing, entertaining stuff, with the media. So I think we're pretty fortunate to have him.
Yeah, no, we definitely are, and obviously Luke Evans, I think, has now started the new beat, right? Is it tomorrow he starts on the Warriors beat?
He was just announced that he started. Luca was one of those that would have some fun with Sean Payton. Ask real questions.
Absolutely, and that Sean would have some fun back with, But he, and that was the nice thing, right? Because I think sometimes, Sean, I mean, look, Sean can be a stubborn old goat. Sean can make comments, but I love the fact that Luca never allowed what Sean, like, remember Sean, like, and it would be said in jest in ways, but like, you could take it up. But like when like what would you know about like playing defense in the NFL, right? Luca just didn't care. Like, he come back the next press conference with the next question, and that's what we need.
I had Luca on the show.
I saw that
right after
holidays.
It was a real interesting interview. He definitely did. I mean, he thought it was kind of funny, how the whole thing blew up and he became like this instant local legend, but he wasn't interested in that. He was not interested in his relationship. His job was not to build rapport or entertain. He was trying to get answers out of the coach and write good content for us. And, if that meant, it was entertaining or if there was pushback, he didn't really care. He takes his job really seriously. He's a smart little guy, and it was a tough loss, I think, for Broncos media in here. But you still have us, so it's okay. Cornbread says Philadelphia's O-line was trash. Okay. What are you talking about, man? Why are you being all weird? Did this just turn into a Philadelphia show? What did I miss?
Is this you? Is this you and Cornbread role playing Sean Payton and
I don't know. I wonder if Cornbread, did you think you tuned into an Eagles show and then forgot you were still on Mile High Monsters, or what's going on with you, man? Did we talk about Philadelphia or something? What did I miss?
Oh man, the Eagles have one of the biggest homers as a beat reporter. I can't even think of his name, but he is brutal. Like, he's truly terrible.
Well, we don't have that here. We have the best coverage on the planet. I do think those guys, it's their job. So ask the questions. I'm saying maybe Sean needs to play some play advice. Okay.
The guy I'm trying to think who. Oh, it's Elliot Shore Parks, and I don't know if anyone has seen this, but this is the guy again. I mean, look, I know he's doing it for clicks and stuff, and we should just I wish more people would ignore, and just not follow.
And you say this while you're bringing it up.
I'm bringing it up to the people can see how nonsensical it is, and that he's doing it to get the clicks, right? Because he's not getting paid from us talking about him. But there's the guy who would say who won joint practices, right? And would be like, oh, the Eagles are unbeaten in joint. How are you winning a joint practice? It's not a game.
Yeah, it's a practice.
Yeah. We
won. Yay. Well, that's like Cornbread here saying our run plays were very mid. I mean, we're not running our run plays. So I wouldn't, we'll see what happens in the regular season. You're just running power, you're running duo, you're just running standard. They're not really running anything other than base concepts. So I like what I saw out of our running backs, both RJ and Coleman so far. Specifically, RJ in the passing game. And it was nice to see Coleman actually catch a pass. He looked comfortable doing it. The pass was sort of a dump off that it didn't really matter in the grand scheme. There was nowhere to go. Maybe he could have beat the one guy that was there, but it was nice to see him catch the ball and look good doing it. But look, no supers, so that means no overtime. Sorry, you guys let me down today on Sunday. But Colin, you never let us down. You're the best. Dr. Cronin, when he's in the house. If you guys can't get enough of Colin, you can always find him at the Dublin to Denver podcast with Stuart Roche. It's a very intellectual show. It's a very smart show. We don't do that here. Carmellini doesn't have that sort of mental capacity. But as you heard earlier, I am the calmest and most level-headed Broncos media personality. Thanks, Coach. You saw it here. It's on record, Colin. I'm sorry you're not as calm as me. I'm sorry you're not as level-headed as I am, but you're very nice. You're very smart. Oh, wait a minute. I always have to bring someone new up here. S. McLaurin. Hello, I'm new here. Well, hello and welcome. Please hit the like button. That's the rules. I don't make them. Should this season be prove it or lose it for Riley Moss? It is absolutely that. He and J-Mac are both in contract years. S. McLaurin. I have to come up with a new name for you. Everybody has to have a name that I can use, and S. McLaurin, it's going to be like S. Mac or I don't know, Smack. Oh, wow, we got you, Smack. You're in here, official monster now. Look, it's a make or break year for both of them. One of these two might not be back after this year, J-Mac or Riley Moss. My understanding is that J-Mac will be re-signed prior to the season starting. The closer we get, the more I'm starting to doubt my information, but hopefully it happens. And then Riley Moss, who's looked great in camp and limited play, he's set to get a big paycheck. And I don't know if the Broncos are going to pay it. So we'll see about that. Smack, Smack Lauren. Gosh, I'm going to come up with a good name for you. But yeah, it is it's prove it or lose it. Cornbread said he doesn't have the attention span for prolonged listening of two Irish guys chopping it up. I need an opar. Oh God. Well, look, I don't have the attention span either. Colin, again, great show as always. Weekend Edition's my favorite show. Now this show should be on. All right, so now I got to stay. Fernando, thanks to Fernando, I got to stay another 5 minutes.
Oh,
Colin, you don't have to. Appreciate that. Smack is cool, bro. Thanks. So we got Smack, Smack.
There you go.
Look,
yeah, we will. We should say to people just before I get out of here that we will, for the regular season, we are going to try to settle on a time so that people will be able
11
to...
Central on Sunday.
Okay,
yeah.
Mike, we've been talking about it. So yeah, before the games kick off.
Yep, an hour before kickoff on Sundays, we will do our weekend edition.
Yeah, we'll do weekend edition, and you'll get the preview.
Yeah, your weekly dose of an Irishman who knows more about football than Carmellini, and so that's why we keep him around. And even though he's not the best and calmest and most level-headed, even though he's not that, we do keep him around. So Colin,
I like cornbread. So like it's like you want, because my English teacher said about, like, you understand, cornbread, that you cannot hurdle the big words. Okay, you got to go and look them up. That's the important piece here, okay?
That's the thing about
not
a book,
the 110-meter hurdles.
Yeah, right? You can stop.
Right? You don't hurdle them. You go, you look them up.
All right, Colin, get out of here. I'll see you next Sunday. Enjoy your week. Mind yourself, and I will go 5 minutes of overtime here with my guys. So we'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Sloan, good luck. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, guys. So that's your all-star, Colin Cronin. He's the best. As much as, when he's on here, of course, I say I'm the best, but we know he's the best. So I appreciate that. Colin, that's why I like Colin. Grandizer says a lot of people go an hour before kickoff plus go 3 hours. Please go 3 hours before kickoff. I am not going 3 hours before kickoff. Like, I can't. I've had to do some morning shows, man. And I am not a morning person at all. I can't, like at 8 o'clock Central in the morning, I just, and until they pay me to do this, man, like, get up. It's like it'd be a work day. So even though, it's Sunday, 12:30 Mountain on a Sunday, like, I don't really feel like I'm working right now. But if I had to get up at 7 a.m. on a Sunday and prep for a show, dude, I don't know, man. That'd be crazy. I go 5 hours. Grandizer goes 5 hours before kickoff, guys. Yeah, I go late, like post game. I know a lot of you guys watched the post game the other night after the night game, Friday night, and we were out here until, I want to say, about at least 1 o'clock in the morning. We were still out here. So, we'll go late, but man, I'm not doing 3 hours before kickoff. So, guys, I hope you guys understand what I was saying about the players that I think we need to move on from. Some of them we need to move on from, like, right now. Taking up roster spots for some of them. Like, I would like to see, like, some new blood in here in the running back room. Like, this defaulting to Tyler Bidet and Jaleel McLaughlin just because they've been here, it's like, make them work for it, bro. Like, bring in some competition for those. Corey Schrader, sure. Like, but there's going to be some cut downs. Some guys that just want to be part of a team, that we might be able to count on. Maybe a bigger back on the practice squad instead of just these little hobbits. Nothing against these guys. I love all Broncos, of course, but just in a team building, perspective, if you're just going to have stash guys on the practice squad, does it have to be Tyler Bidet again? Like he just never performs. Make him earn it. Cornbread says he usually go 5 minutes after kickoff. That's why I've never seen your show. Now that I know that, though, I will definitely tune in and watch you instead of watching the game because, I love you. You're an official monster. So now, as far as Singleton goes, I meant what I said. Like, I understand why he needs to start the season. VJ doesn't trust anybody for some reason. He trusts Singleton. The question earlier about who was supposed to cover Lloyd out of the backfield, I think it was G-Man that said that. Singleton was trying to change that call right before the snap. Nobody knew what he was talking about. And then he just dropped. He opened up his feet to, I thought that meant he was going to cover this one guy. And then he just dropped back. Him and Brandon Jones were just standing in the back of the end zone. Like, what are you even doing there? I don't know who they were covering. It was just a mess. So the benefit of him is supposed to be, he's this great locker room guy. And I don't know, like Green Dottie calls the play, he can run the defense. I'm not seeing it. So he better watch out for Murdoch. He better watch out for Karene Reed. I think he's going to be hurting the team this year. Yep. You've been on the Jackson Acker free agent thing all year. TD 30 is still the standard. Yeah, if you're talking about running backs, yes, he is. You know what? I brought this up the other day, though. My comp for Jonah Coleman is CJ Anderson. And but if you remember, like I do, Terrell Davis was not fast by running back standards, but he played fast. He played fast in pads. And that's what I see from Jonah Coleman. Like, he looks fast in the game in pads. These guys aren't running the 40. If it was just a 40-yard dash, then the fastest running backs would always be the best running backs, and that is never the case. Occasionally it is. A guy with 4.2 or 4.3 speed turns out to be a good back. That new Raiders back, Mike Washington, looks like he's got some potential there, unfortunately for us. But yeah, you don't have to be fast to be a great running back. Derrick Henry is no longer fast, but he's got great vision. He's very powerful, and he should be a Hall of Fame player. Sacred says Singleton must go. At some point, I think he does need to go. I think this year it's really going to show up. I just see everybody taking advantage of the middle of the field on us and nickel and diming us to death. Those guys can't cover. They're not coming up. Like, either be a downfield blocker or be really good in coverage. So there's your 5 minutes of overtime. I want to shout out Fernando. Where did you go? Fernando, for the 5 extra minutes. Thank you, Fernando. It's great to have you in here. Guys, make sure you subscribe and like. This weekend show is one of my favorites. I'll finish out the chat. I'm sorry, I thought we were insinuating sex. My bad. Oh, so you start. Okay, I get you now. You're so weird. I disagree with this one. Greenlaw, there was more to that story than just his play on the field or not being able to stay on the field. He wasn't a fit. He didn't want to be here. He didn't like the long practices. He didn't like the discipline. The character of this team is very different. Sean Payton, there's a standard here. And some players just don't adapt and don't want to practice that hard or be in the building that much. It must be very different in San Francisco. So he went back. So no, that didn't work. And Smack, there was just a little bit more to that story. No, and for the reasons I just laid out, it would not. If he would have been healthy and would have bought into the Peyton way or the Bronco way, absolutely, because I was super happy about this signing, and that's why it surprises me. Like, you go make this move for Greenlaw because it's necessary for the team, and then when it doesn't work out, you cut Greenlaw. And then you don't replace him. You don't try again. You don't go find anybody. So that room actually went backwards for me. I don't like that one bit. Did the vibe stall out in that last game? Yeah. I mean, Thank you for enlightening me on Greenlaw. I didn't know. Yeah, there was more to that story. One benefit of doing the mic'd up shows that I do. I didn't do a lot of them this year, but I did get to know a lot of the. I mean, if you watch the intro, you see all the people that come on the show, and those people are nice enough to talk to me and text me and be in chat groups with me and share information. And I was curious about Greenlaw when that happened, and so I just asked around, and yeah, there was a lot more to that. So I appreciate you, asking the question, and I appreciate you, coming in today. It's always great to see a new person engaging. Everybody say hello to Smack Lauren. Love that new name. Don't let me forget that if you come in next time. Thanks again to Colin for coming on. Thanks again to all the monsters. Let me try and shout out. First of all, Fernando for the super. You win the day. And my monsters are on green. David Yunkin and Jackson, of course. You guys are the best. Cornbread, my guy. Let me see. G-Man, who's not a official monster, but he's basically gets a free pass because he's almost family. T-Fishes, there you are. I knew you were in there somewhere. I thought there was one more monster. What a lot of chat to go through. I don't even know how many there are. Oh, there he is, Steezy. All right, so I think that was it. Steezy, if I miss a monster, it'll be the second time I've missed one, so I'm going to make sure. But again, shout out to Fernando for extending. I see the numbers. I've already lost 4 viewers just by doing this, so I don't blame you guys for getting out of here while I do this. But I do like to thank my viewers, all of you for watching. Oh, for 5 more minutes. So Cornbread, don't act like I couldn't see it because I was way at the top, like going back to find everybody. And of course, Smack being a new listener, thanks for coming in. So, all right, you get 5 more minutes. I'll give you 10 because you're always in here and you're always doing that. So we got 10 more minutes. So 1:36. We're at an hour and 26 minutes. All right, let's do this. Let's revisit the 53. Right now we are at. On offense, I've got, should I share this? This is a terrible screen to share. But I'm going to share it with you anyway. And I'm going to apologize for how crappy this is. Where is it? Here it is. All right, so this is what I've been working on, and you guys can see it on the screen here. You can see you can see that. So right now we've got Bo Nix and Stidham on the 53, right? Can you guys see that all right? Is that big enough for you? Yeah, he does that. But like he and his wife can kind of do whatever they want on this show. They've actually sent us stuff and they're on the stage back here. So you get 10. You get 10. We're going to go over this. So, even though I've cut him in my mind, Stidham makes the 53. Ellinger doesn't. And then the running back room, we added Coleman, or not Coleman, but I added Prentice back on. Hopefully that's big enough for you guys to see. I wish I could make that bigger, but I can't because I'm an idiot and I don't know how to do that. Yeah, sorry, can't do it. Now Prentice is on, and I put Bentley over here on the right. Now, initially he would have been over here on the 53, but I think we'll try to stash him on the practice squad. And then Loner's not making it, of course, and there's Butler. We talked about him as not making it. So everybody else's practice squad that's not in this dark square area. Now, what you could see, honestly, guys, is you could see Bentley stashed over here, and perhaps Prentice stuck over here on the. Maybe they put Prentice on the practice squad, and risk him. I don't think they do that though. So I think we probably go with that. I don't see how we fit anybody else on there. And then obviously Jolie will make it. Another wild card is Adkins. Like they could cut Atkins for a week or two and then bring him back and then protect who the heck was I? Where did he go? Did I lose my Bentley? There he is. Yeah. We don't want to lose Bentley. I want to keep him. Mike, the best part of the show should be now people that leave early must pay. Yeah. We got one back. We lost we've got 95 watching right now. So it looks like 94. I lost another one. You can't watch that. That'll drive you crazy. Okay, so defense, I'm cutting Cooper, right? But here he is. He's right here. Oh, look at that. I made it bigger. That's what she said. Oh, sorry. Don't tell my wife I said that. I'll get to the chat in just a second. So, look, if we cut Cooper, this room still looks really good, but then we'd have, who do we put up in there? Because I've already cut Drew Sanders. He can't stay healthy. Walker, I don't know. But you can't keep, you've got 4 linebackers here, and Corinne Reed is probably spelled wrong and in the wrong. Like I said, I do these. Let's just copy. I think it's actually this way, guys. But we usually only keep 4 inside linebackers, as you see from last year. That's what these numbers mean. And I've got 5 on here right now, which means somebody's got to go, which means I'm almost planning on Cooper being suspended. Either that or they got to do something in the safety room with Skinner or Key. Or maybe they cut Rapp and bring him back on. So if that all is clear as mud, I hope you guys understand where we're at on the 53 right now. I don't see. I think York is probably out. And when I say out, I just mean he'll be on the practice squad. So that would be that's probably your 53 right there in the linebacker room. Corinne Reed, who's actually ahead of Murdoch in the grand scheme of things right now. Although I think Murdoch has, everything we like to see from an inside linebacker. I think Murdoch has, and hopefully, we get to see more of him. So Ross, fresh keepers. Yeah, I think they'll be on the practice squad. I think Cam Ross has done enough. He and Manjack are fun to watch. Again, I think, Hakeem Butler's gone. Katzis has done. I think Katzis will stick around on the practice squad too. So, but yeah, I think Sean Fresh makes it on the 50. Not on the 53. None of these guys will be on the 53. We have to pay Mims. I agree. Smack. Now I'd like to see him healthy and get him out on the field. But yeah, Mims needs to get paid. He needs to stay. Interesting to see what happens with Frank. Grandizer, hey Mike, hope all's well. I've been listening from the near get-go. Saw you were going live. Just laying here as I wake up. First cup of coffee. Now it's weird how this comment came in while we're in overtime here. Which, by the way, where'd you go? Cornbread. Okay, so you got well over 5 minutes. I hope you're happy. I know I'm happy, so thank you for that. Question, Mike, at this point, what positions are the Broncos deep at? What positions are they thin at? Well, we're deep at wide receiver. I think we're deep. Well, let's see. Pretty deep. I think our D-line's pretty set, although it was brought up earlier about Savion Jones, looking like could be trouble there. I think we're pretty deep on edge. Certainly with Cooper in, so mostly on the defensive side of that ball, and then a wide receiver. It's funny how it's such a great question. Where are we thin? It's like we're thin at linebacker, but we have potential reserve there. So it's like we have starters and then some good looking reserves in Corinne Reed, Murdoch, and Torian York. Lavelle Bailey, who went out on IR. It can change really fast. But I say that room, even though it sounds deep, I say that room is thin because I don't really like our starters. So I don't know. Other than that, this is a really good roster. The cornerback room is full. Like we have one too many cornerbacks. You can argue that we have one too many wide receivers. You've got Waddle and Mims and Sutton and Frank and excuse me, and Pat Bryant and Pat Bryant, Mims, Sutton, Waddle all look like stars to me. And Frank's had his moments, so that's a real deep room. The quarterback room is thin. We've got Bo and nothing else, in my opinion. So I would say that. Your voice is soothing too. You guys are hilarious. Imagine after seeing Waddle, Mims, and Waddle on the field. What the hell, dude? Imagine after seeing Waddle, Mims, and Waddle on the field. Oh, so after we saw Waddle, now imagine seeing Mims and Waddle on the field. See, I'm just, I'm getting loopy. Oh, great. Here we go. So it is 1:35. We've been going. This is going to be, so now this is going to be the longest stream in the history, maybe. So now we got to go an hour and 40 minutes. Would you trade? Yes, I would, depending on which one it was. So I think with what we've seen from some of these other, Fernando, that's a great question. With what we've seen from some of these other wide receivers, Manjack, Katsas, Cam Ross, I think you could get away with one of those guys being your fifth wide receiver. Do we need that good of a wide receiver to be our way down the line backup wide receiver? I don't know. And so even though Franklin, it wouldn't make a lot of sense. I'm just a huge Mims fan. I want them to keep Mims, even though he's in a contract year, and theoretically it could be his last season. And then, Franklin is under contract. It would make more sense to keep him. But if you could trade Troy Franklin for a really good tight end, yeah, I'd be down for that in a second, because I think it's a real team need. And then, of course, if you've been watching earlier, I think it was Cornbread who said it's so hard to evaluate tight ends in a team that's not using their tight ends. So it's funny. I've got my text messages on my computer over here, and it's funny. It's like, are you still live? Are you still going? It's like, when are you? Yeah, it's because my guys are paying me to be here. So piss off. Monsters first. Thank you, Fernando, again. Thanks, Mike, for taking my question. I didn't see the game. Oh, you didn't see the game versus Falcons, but I heard the aftermath of some Falcons traders. They were floored, beat up. That game was like a tale of two cities, the Broncos and the Falcons. It's weird. It looked like two teams going in two very different directions, right? And the Broncos look like Super Bowl contender that they should, and the Falcons look like the crap contenders that they are. And that's exactly what you got, Grandizer. But then last week, they absolutely whipped up on somebody. I don't even remember who it was, but it was, oh, great. Cornbread. Here we go. Yeah, it's going to 1 p.m. Mountain. Smacks Beast for the longest stream. And now, now we're going till 1 p.m. Mountain, thanks to Cornbread. So thanks for putting the time on there, by the way, and being fair about it. So again, you always come through, not only supporting the show, but your honesty and integrity is important, because now I don't have to do math, because I don't do math. You put the time on that I owe you now. And so now I just have to watch the time. So now it's gonna be a 2-hour stream. So if you guys want to complain, take it up with David Cornbreadimus right there. So back to this though. I'm curious about what they said. I bet they were upset. Their quarterback play was bad. I bet they were a little freaked out, but I'll bet you after this last game, like they felt better. I wonder what, like, did we have? I think if I just go to like NFL, ESPN, can you still do that? Oh no, let's have pop-ups, ESPN. Let's do that. I was gonna say I'd just go like look at scores. Like we don't normally talk too much about preseason on this show. But you know what? If Cornbread's gonna pay me to be here till 1 p.m., I'm gonna give you guys everything I got. So yeah, NFL. So Cowboys, here we go. Let's do a proper NFL update show, shall we? Now your Falcons, Grandizer, your Falcons. Preseason week. Why is my internet so weird? It's not my internet. Why am I so weird? I just want, like, I don't want AI to, like, I just want a website. So they've already moved on to next week. So can I get to last week's score? Here we go. Yeah, the Falcons 34-6 over the Colts. All right, so the team that we absolutely devastated and blew away came out. Cooper Rush was 10 of 11 for 86 yards and a 90% completion ratio. And Strand was 12 of 17, 200 yards and a touchdown. So they came back, and then it looks like they actually got a lot of rushing touchdowns. So yeah, Atlanta, that's preseason though. Like, why did we kill them and then they go out and kill the Colts? But then you have to look at, well, who did the Colts put out there? Their passing was Richardson, 3 of 9. Oh gosh, Anthony Richardson. Falling that far is tough. But there's your Falcons question. I do spend time, Cornbread says, watching other teams, looking for a solid QB2. That's right. He's our scout. Yeah, it's nice that you are scouting for us. I know you're a big Tanner McKee and Jackson Acker fan. I do have those names memorized. Somebody bring me a water. Just kidding. There's nobody out here. There's nobody in my studio but me. I am very fortunate to not have to do this in like a closet or a bathroom or a bedroom somewhere in the house. Mike, before you get out here, apologies if I missed it. Was there a Broncos article that you read in the last few days that you wanted to cover in more depth? Something? No, I did check out, of course, Nick Kosmider over on The Athletic wrote a good article. Troy Rank's always a good read if you can read him. But no, I mean, during the season, it's like, at least at this point in the season, everybody's just trying to fill copy and either early, like right after the season, is a really good time for articles for me. You're going to get a lot of reflection, deep dives on the season or what happened or what didn't happen. During the draft is really interesting for me. But now that the season is going, like sort of going, I mean, I know it's preseason. It's hard to even find the time to read a lot, but I do read those two, Nick Kosmider and Troy Rank for sure. And then of course, we lost a great writer to the San Francisco Chronicle now, so can't read him anymore. But other than that, reading articles, I don't know. Do you have any out there that you read? Right now, I'm just trying to keep up with the news, do shows. Like I do a show. Don't forget, I do a show every day for Believe in Broncos, BLEAV. That's my full-time thing, and then this is my baby, my channel. So I've got Column on the weekend and David during the week, and then a solo show with you guys in the chat every week. And that's what this has turned into now. It's kind of a double dose, if you will. But yeah. There's good writers out there. If you find them, let us know. Let us know what you find. Mike, they were saying, like you said, Falcons looked out of sync, out of their league, even maybe a case to be on the old football follies, just domination from Broncos. Yeah, it was ugly for them. Everything went right for us. We looked good. But then you saw what happened last week against Green Bay. It was just the opposite. So it can happen. Try not to read too much. Either way, you don't want to get too high or too low in the preseason, unless there's an injury, and then you can get as low as you want. Yeah, it was only. Yeah, I don't even know how many fans were in the stadium. I know Sean Payton said everybody was dressed like empty seats. So I don't know how many people were. I did see a little bit on Twitter from them. But look, they're just not a team that has anything going right now. So, I wouldn't expect. I don't know what they're expecting. I did hear what Sean commented on the quarterback room, and I'm now seeing top tier noise coming out about it. Stidham is looking cooked. I don't know what he said. Maybe you can elaborate, but he couldn't have been happy. They need to play better. So that interception from Stidham was ugly, man. If even though I'm cutting Lucas Krull, he had a nice move. I don't know if it was 3rd and 10 or 3rd and 11 or what that play was. I didn't have a problem with so much the read that Stidham made on the interception, but Krull does just a little outside, and then he takes the leverage on the inside. He turns his head, and the ball should have been there right then, and it would have been a first down or really close to a first down. But Stidham waits a full second, and then throws it when it's too late. And of course, whoever it was, the defensive back, it was just such an easy interception. That's a very ugly interception for a professional quarterback. That should have never happened. That's a rookie mistake there. Didn't like that at all. So G-Man, my guy, says I was watching the Vikings preseason game yesterday, and Carson Wentz still has an arm. If the Vikings cut Carson Wentz, I would love to see Stidham cut and Wentz be a Broncos QB2. Well, that would be a big get. Yeah, I'd be down for that. Carson Wentz is the perfect backup quarterback, right? His career is basically over as a starter, but he can do starter reps. He can play starter ball. He could go in and win a few games for you. That's a great call. I love that one. Watch the post-game interview. Yeah, I need to do that. So I watched some of it. I must have missed that one. I think I just watched. I think DMAC just posted some of it. I didn't watch the whole thing, but it was on my list of things to do today. But now it's I'm almost kind of ready to move on to game 3. But I will go watch that based on that. Smack says your top 5 greatest Broncos running backs. Holy crap, dude. I don't know. Terrell Davis, obviously, number 1. And then I would say Sammy Winder. And then I love CJ. Who did we send to? Don't do this to me, man. Who did we send to Washington for Champ Bailey? I really liked him. And those are my big ones. I'm trying to think of my favorite running backs of all time. You know what? I'll get back to you on that one. I'd have to look at that. I draw a blank. I'm too old. Just trying to remember everyone that's on our roster right now. It fills my brain. But of course, TD would be number 1, and then everybody else would be. But I was a big Sammy Winder fan back in the day. Gerald Woolhite, because I'm Sean Payton's age, so I'm going way back here. But Clinton Portis, thank you. But Clinton Portis was a great one. I loved Mike Anderson, the Mile High Salute, because I was in the Army, and so I always appreciated that. And we've had a lot of really good running backs here. I don't see any here. No, that's not that's not happening. You better follow that up with an LOL, because that's not gonna happen. Cornbread says Denver Trav posted a short talking about how much Waddle loved it here and totally missed what was going on in the interview. I reposted it saying, "What the F is going on here?" It's hilarious. First of all, Trav, if you don't know who Denver Trav is, you got look him up. He's just a wonderful content creator. and he's really good at making videos. And what I mean by that is like pre-recording stuff and putting highlights in and all the stuff that I don't do. Like I just do research, I get ready, I get my co-hosts on, we push the button, we go live. So what you see here is what we're doing here. Those guys that can sit down and record stuff and then add videos and do all that, it's a whole different ball game from what I do. Like I this is what I thrive on. I would rather sit here and talk to you guys than make videos. But boy, is Trav good at it. And yeah, he's a great supporter of our show. Love him and love everything he does. So it's a good call. Yeah, I was hoping. LOL. Who was our? See, this is why I hate that, because I can never draw names. But Super Bowl 32, we had a great fullback. Shanahan had a lot of fullback in it's going to kill me. Somebody look it up for me. But he was always clearing the way for Terrell Davis, and then he was always good for a couple catches out of the backfield or a keeper. And so he would definitely be number one as far as fullbacks go. Smack liked Willis McGahee and Noshawn Marino. Yeah, I like those guys too. Like maybe one of those guys might make it on. I don't know if Noshawn would make my top 5. I would really have to put thought into that. That's that off-season stuff, man. Where were you when I needed you? Like I do like my top 10 lists. I'm really big on that in the off-season because there's nothing else to talk about, right? After the draft, it's like, what are you going to do? Top 10 players, top 10 favorite players, top 10 games, like list season. When Troy Rank was on a couple weeks ago, I was like, man, isn't it great to be done with list season? And it was funny because I was messing with him because it was Nick Kosmider from The Athletic. He was on my show and I said, hey man, we got preseason football coming up, so isn't it great to have list season done? And speaking of that, like you came out with a new top 10 list today on your so it was like he literally just posted on The Athletic a list, like a top 10 list or whatever. And so I was kind of messing with him, and which I love to do. So just the way that Cornbread likes to mess with me. Yeah, short video, lots of shorts from him. I watched Denver Trav, Brandon Perna, and that one optimistic guy, Ben. Yeah, he just texted me actually. I won't tell you his last name. I don't think he puts that out there, but yes, Ben at Sports Talk Denver. Yep. Good friend of mine. Actually, Ben helped me start my channel because, not start the channel, but so when I started this, I really didn't know a whole lot about video production and all that. And I'm a firm believer in trying to provide you, the listener, whoever's watching, with as good a product as I can. Like I want it to look good. I want it to sound good. I hope it does look good and sound good for you guys. I don't want you to have to fight through bad sound and bad video to hear what I have to say and to hear what you guys are saying. But yeah, Ben over at Sports Talk Denver is the optimistic guy. That's his thing. And he's actually that guy. Like he literally is that positive. Like I wish I lived in that world. I'm not cynical. My glass is definitely half full. It's not half empty, but yeah, he's something else. But he is also a professional video audio guy for a school district, I believe, or something. So he does a lot of presentation work. Might even be for a college system or something, but that's literally what he does. And his production is so good. And so he really came out and said, hey, this is how this works. This is what, these camera settings mean. This is what, like how you separate your background from your foreground. So he was very helpful to me. So I have a soft spot in my heart for Ben. So shout out to him. Brandon Perna, of course, is the king of all. We all watch Brandon. He's no longer a Broncos show, but he's a Broncos fan, and he definitely lets everybody know that. So another one you should check out, Smack, is David Talks Broncos, my co-host on here, at least once a week. Top 10 Broncos who deserve to make the Pro Bowl but never did. Shut up, dude. Like, first of all, I would have to go back and see what Broncos never made, regardless if they were were well known or one-year wonder. So off the top of my head, no, not doing that. You can. I do miss the old on the thin side. They would do the Pro Bowl question and other content. They never seem to run out of content on the air. One of the goats, but until hiatus, the old on the thin side. I don't know what that is, but they would do the Pro Bowl question. See, I mean, I would always do that. Like, if you hit me up on Twitter or something, like I will research that stuff, and then, like, I don't want to come in here and give you some BS answer that's not the truth. First of all, I don't ever want to be called out for it. Like, I have no problem being called out for bad takes. And if there's one thing about like the rest of the media, and I'm not trashing, I rarely trash other media unless they just really are like Stephen A. Smith or some garbage like that. Like I always say what I think, and then that way, later when you guys say, you were wrong, I can go, yeah, I know I was wrong. Yeah, I screwed that up. Like Ingram breakout season, all that stuff. Like, I'm going to be wrong about stuff, but I'm never going to like do the clickbait stuff. And then I'm never going to be like walk things back when I'm wrong. And if you want to piss me off, Broncos media, you know who you are. When you make all these grand proclamations and then they don't come true, and then you try and walk it back with your excuses, you know what? Just take the L. You were wrong. You went out on a limb and said, I guarantee you this isn't happening. And then it happens and you're like, well, it wasn't going to happen until it did because there was a change. Well, you know what? You were wrong, and you should have never said, don't try and get clout by making predictions and then not walk, and then not admitting you were wrong. When I saw Ben's video on Stidham, I said, oh man, he's cooked. Why? Because that's from Ben. Did Ben do an anti-Stidham video? That's crazy. Because normally he's like, the Broncos just got the best news ever. They're eating Wheaties and everybody else is eating beans. And, he's just crazy. But I love him. So yeah, if he's talking bad about somebody, he's cooked. They were the Dolphins content creators that were first to start in 2006. They went on hiatus in 2022. Oh, it's too bad, man. I wish they would. Hopefully they come back for you. There was a time I would watch a lot of content creators. I think it was like research for me. It was a few years ago when I was, as I was slowly starting doing this. I was like, what are they doing out there? What can I learn about their videos? What I'm seeing, what don't I like? And then so I don't do that. And the biggest thing I saw was people not being themselves. And as human beings, it's crazy I haven't lost more viewers talking about this stuff. So shout out to you guys. Hope you guys hit the like button while you're in here, because I see you out there watching. The one thing I saw about content creators that I immediately was like, don't do that, was when you try to act like something you're not. Because there's this weird thing about humans. There's a natural reaction to people who are fake. And I don't know if that's a built-in, when someone's not being themselves, it makes you feel uncomfortable. And so I see that, and I still see that, and I hope I never do that. So just be you. He did. See, this is what you do to me. Oh, you're talking about Ben. Okay. So don't ever do that. You talk about attention span. Like, once I move on from your comment, I have moved on from your comment. Do not refer to it 5 comments later and then expect me to know what the hell you're talking about, cornbread. But since you paid for this, it's your show. You have 2 minutes left. Of course, I mean the first in Dolphins content creators, just the news, go about an hour 2 to 3 times a week. Yeah, 2006 would have been a good time to start that. I was doing pods early in the 2000s. They were audio podcasts. So if I ever come out here without a bottle of water, again, shoot me, because that's what I did. I like watching Mike because I'm waiting on Darth Vader to attack. I know I have him. I don't know if you can see him, but he's definitely reaching out for me. He looks dark on my screen, but maybe you can see him. He's like trying to choke hold me. It's going to happen at some point in time. Grandizer says, so this is about the Dolphins covering the NFL draft, lead up to the draft. Before so many do it now, they just flew under the radar, no rah-rah type. Objective, factual. Most fans don't like that. I think that's true too. Like, don't want to fall into a trap of ever being like having a shtick. Okay. Like Ben has a shtick and you know what that is, but you know what to expect. And if you want 10 minutes of good news, he's a great stop. I mean, and he's so genuine and that's who he is. That's why it works. The angry shows, the shouty shows, as you know, my good friend Sam Monson would call them, shouty shows. They don't do anything for me. Now, I will say, look, all right, to be fair, objective, okay, I'm mostly objective. Factual, I try to be, all right? I definitely try not to put false information out there. However, I did say we were on a 9-game preseason win streak. I said it twice. It was actually 8. And so, yeah, I have put out bad information here, but it's never intentional. Now, the rah-rah stuff, now look, man, when Colin and I are on here or David and I are on here, it's probably not a lot of rah-rah, but it's, man, we're fans too. Like, I love the Denver Broncos. I love the Broncos. I love my chat. I love my monsters. And I can't help it. But I do not take, look, man, you're never going to tune in and see me try and act like I'm some ESPN serious reporter. Like, everybody does that. Like, we are a little bit more, I don't know. I think it should be fun to watch a show. And if it's not fun, then that's my fault. But at least we're not taking ourselves way too seriously here. Smack says old school, but with the times you have. Well, thank you for the sub, man. That does mean a lot to me. Honestly, seriously, it really does. I love my subs. I love my monsters. Speaking of monsters, the show costs you like $30, dude. I think I can't even do the math. At least close to it. Your wife's going to kill you. I would have listened to Sam Kinison if he had I would too. And if I could do that voice, I would. But since I ran out of that about 40 minutes ago, and I've been going without a drink, thanks to you for the last 40 minutes, I can't even do my imitation of Sam Kinison, but I used to be able to do one. It was when it was number. Smack says, I'm super chill and down to earth. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you saying that. My wife would agree with you, and my kids would agree with you, and hopefully most of my listeners would agree with you. I mean, I'm just being who I am. Now, you would not want to watch a football game with me because then there's a different Carmellini that comes out. During the games, I can be unbearably dramatic. Let's just say. So, there she is. So I already said something to him. Yeah. Stop sending money. So for those of you that don't know, this is Cornbread's wife. And he sent, so Cornbread sent that to make me stay until 1 p.m. And it's actually 1:05 now. So you got another 5 minutes of bonus. And then his wife comes in and I said, all right, I said something. So stop spending money. That's enough. As much as I appreciate it. And I ordered my new lights. Cornbread, because of you, I want to thank you personally. Okay. And I will thank, was it Fernando? This is a new name. It should be in the start area. It was Fernando, who also, by the way, $10, Fernando. Thank you so much. And I answered your questions. I hope I did. So now I'm just going to leave the super chats up there. So I'm not seeing your comments anymore. I do want to, I want to thank you guys. So you have a wife who watches everything you do, and I do too. Certainly when it comes, now the mistake I made was telling my wife a few years ago, it's like, I said, I don't want to deal with money anymore. You handle it. Okay. You let me know. I'll come to you and say, hey, can I buy this? Can I get new tires for the car? Can I do this? Then you just tell me if I can. And then I'm just sick of worrying about it. I've done it my whole life. I signed off. And so, yeah, my point is that everybody, now I'm being watched, right? This is my little pet project, my little hobby with my little Bronco friends. All right, well, so now it's blown up into this huge thing. We have 6,000 whatever followers, subscribers, and a new one tonight. Smack, thank you so much. But like my lights blew out. And so now I have this borrowed light over here. I mean, I wish I could show you this desk lamp with a piece of paper over the to keep it from being this blinding light. So I just have a piece of paper sitting on it. So I'm making do. But thanks to you, Canna Girl, thanks to your husband and my other monsters, I have ordered my new lights. They should be here Monday. Thank you for that. And that's why I do appreciate these super chats, because I don't want my wife paying for this, if that makes sense. Like I promised her that, you know, I do have to pay for the NFL package. I do have to pay for the lights. I do have to pay for the StreamYard. I do have to pay for YouTube Premium. I do have to pay for Canva to make the things. It's like, she's like, your show costs this much money. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Towards a light. Dude, no, now I have to go 20 more minutes. Now I have to go till 1:20. Thank you. T-Fish is actually an official monster, by the way. T-Fish is always wants to be here. He rarely gets to catch these live. Yeah, the lights are going to be huge, dude. Like I'm pretty set on microphones. I have, of course, my big microphone here. Tonight I'm wearing the lavalier mic because I was on with Column and I get very animated. I hope it sounds okay for you guys. This was the best $30 I ever spent on text the wife to get water. It's a good idea. I wonder if she would bring me water. Let me see if she's paying attention. Please bring water. That's a great idea. Let's see if she responds. We're going to find out what kind of wife I have here in just a minute. All right. So see if she'll do that. Now, see, I would call her, but I can't. I don't have my phone. My phone is not available, but I can text her off of my laptop. So I did that. I texted her. I said, please bring water. Max says it's fun here. I hope so. And I can't thank you enough, T-Fish. Of course, all of you guys. I mean, look, Fernando, look at this. So we've got $55 basically. Like literally that is 30% of the lights that I bought is paid for right there off of one show. So bless you guys. All right. That makes a huge difference. And now, of course, I got a thumbs up from Teresa that she's going to bring me water. So let's see. Let's see if that happens. So I owe you for even bringing that up. So God bless you for that. Jackson Fisher Monster says, I can't believe you're still going. I left for an hour and a half and you're still going. Well, you see at the top where it says $10 adds 10 more minutes to the show. Yeah, these guys are they're getting their money's worth. I'm a man of my word. I get pretty excited because I'm going from 6-7 days a week working to 4 next month. I'll be able to do YouTube videos again. That is awesome, dude. Restart your clothing brand. I can't wait for that. I actually subscribe to your YouTube channel. So hopefully you start putting some stuff out. I'll definitely help you any way I can. And yeah, looking forward to that, man. That's awesome. I am looking forward to not working 5 days a week myself, but that day has not yet come. So we'll see. Look at this. See, this is wonderful. Look at that. Bring it all the way in. Thank you. You know, no kiss for daddy. It's Ferris Bueller reference. Don't make it weird. All right. Thank you. Everybody says thanks, T-Weezy. Look at that. Ask and you receive.
Go Broncos.
Go Broncos, she says. All right. There we go. So, yeah. Man, that feels good. I needed a drink. Cornbread, that was a great idea. I owe you for that. We got happy life, happy wife, nothing rhymes with husband. It's probably true. Man, I tell you what, I needed this. And she brought up, look at this. She brought up Broncos cup. So I won. I won in the wife category. Canner Girl and my wife are two of the best. All right. Anybody got yeah, we got to get it's I could look that up for you, but yeah, put that out there. T-Fishes, if you're still watching, put your channel on there so everybody can check it out if that's where you're going to be doing your stuff. I guess I'm curious about what your guys' thoughts were about like the Alex Singleton thing. Like I think this is my hottest take out of this. You know, Colin brought it up and he was very clear, like the cap hit to cut him would be astronomical. So that's probably not doable this season, but I still like with what I'm saying about him being replaced as a starter this year. I'm curious about your thoughts on that. If you're watching in the chat, put them in here. If you're watching it later, leave a comment because maybe I should do a poll. I really am curious. Like I don't think he brings enough to the table anymore to make up for his lack of coverage skills, his lack of speed and explosiveness. I'm just not seeing it. And honestly, I think he's overrated as the green dot quarterback of the backfield. And it's not that I don't love the guy. I do. I've been a staunch supporter of his for the last few years, but I just can't fight it anymore. So yeah, you're welcome, Canna Girl. You're our Canna Girl. You're my second favorite wife. However that works out. If that sounded weird, Cornbread, you know what I meant. So yes, that cool, refreshing drink. You're a lucky man. I could never find a woman to do that for me. That's why I stayed single. Yeah, I got lucky there. Not gonna lie. You can trade Singleton, but you got to have that. I don't know, man. I can't imagine anybody that would trade for Alex Singleton. I don't know if he has much of a trade value, to be honest with you. Like, I think he's more valuable to Sean and VJ than he's probably for any other team. I don't know. I mean, I'd be all right if you could, but I don't see that happening. Oh, it's T-Fishes at T-Fishes. I didn't work for 3 months to learn how to do YouTube. I got 1,000 subs and a couple of videos over 5,000 views. I decided to go back to work until I could afford to do both. Yeah, so it is that account. Look up T-Fishes on YouTube. Everybody go subscribe to him. You can watch some, I'm assuming it's fishing videos and stuff. The brief time I spent over there when I subscribed to you a few months ago. I hope to see you put some stuff. Vic, oh my God. I'm late. Yeah, you're 2 hours late, dude. We're going for the record here. You guys keep paying me to stay, I'll stay. 50 push-ups, yeah. Jackson, my guy. Best case is that Murdoch replaces Singleton. Yes, that would be the best case scenario. Or Karene Reed. Right? So I guess I should, before I talk smack, I promise not to put stuff out. I don't want to be too wrong. Bio. Second season. I just want to make sure. So, he's 26 years old in his second season out of Utah, 6 foot 226. So either Karene Reed or Murdoch would be great, Jackson, because now you're dealing with your homegrown, first contract guys. That means your draft is working. That means you're building from within, and you're not having to go out and sign a green law and pay a bunch of money. But yeah, either one of those would be best case. Murdoch would probably be your best case because he's the new toy. But yeah, I'm totally with you there. That needs to happen. I mean, and honestly, Singleton's 32. He's going to be 33. I mean, what are we even doing? Smack says, someone said earlier, Alexson is trash to player, but he has the Broncos fan base in the chokehold. Well, I think he's kind of trash. Okay, he's gonna have some moments, but he's waning. He's a liability now, but he has the coaches on his side for sure. He has about half the fan base on his side, and half the fan base does not. 50 push-ups, Vic, for being late, but I'm glad you're here. Yeah, he's a good locker room dude. I mean, everybody loves him, but at some point, those guys, like I said, when I say the juice, worth the squeeze is that he's like, yeah, he's not the player he was. He was never great. He had moments, but now he's waning, and it's time for somebody else to take over. I'm still surprised they signed him to that contract. Is there a player you'd hope the Broncos would trade? I mean, I don't know. Like, if you're going to get rid of somebody, you would hope you'd get a trade. I mean, at this point, I'm ready to roll into the season, guys. Like, we're in our last preseason game coming up. We've been practicing all off season. These guys know the playbook. They're ready to play. So I'm probably not looking to trade anybody unless, you can get anything for these bubble guys that aren't going to make it anyway. Maybe a Franklin. I don't know. I hate to give up on him so soon. So I guess to answer your question, no. Keep them all. Keep them all. Run with it. Yeah. Yeah, and you said that before, G-Man. Murdoch takes over. In fact, you've said that to me. You texted me that. So I know that I'm starting to see that might be the case. So, oh, yeah, for sure. I got you there, Smack. Singleton will make a good play here and there. He will. God, I'd love to be wrong on this one. I'd love for this to be the season that he, he's healthy, plays well, and maybe has a late, late career swoon, I guess. Rude, but someone you were about to read it anyway. Oh, the trash. Yeah, that's fine. The thing about football, Smack, is it's emotional. We're all going to get emotional and say things. If they come out organically, then they come out. I try to keep this show fairly PG-13, but I've dropped an F-bomb a couple times on here, and then I get in trouble for it later. So we all say things, but that's a trash player is fine. A lot of chase from behind tackles. Yeah, you don't want Singleton, and he's always in chase mode. And I don't want to make the rest of this, the last 3 minutes of this show be about bashing Singleton. Look, we've got other players here on the 53 that Murdoch and Karene Reed are right there in the wings. I think we need, with Bailey gone, so York would be your developmental player here. High hopes for York and Murdoch. Could they be, between Reed, Murdoch, and York, could they be your linebacker room as early as next season? I mean, if Cernad's had moments. It's weird that he was benched for Greenlaw last year, and now he's probably the best linebacker we have on the field right now. Think about that. Is that hot takey? I don't mean it to be. But he's probably a better linebacker than Singleton right now. But boy, go back and watch that Green Bay game if you got a little time. Watch Karene Reed play, and watch him in either game. First two games, he popped the interception that Jade Barron took for 97 yards for a touchdown, and so that was Karene Reed that made that play. And then he played really well in the last game. In fact, you'll see the kind of tackling that I'm talking about when I say what I want to see Alex Singleton do. That's what I'm seeing from Karene Reed, is that sort of attacking the ball. He made a couple really nice plays in that game. So, yeah, good on him. So there's hope there, but yeah, I agree with G-Man. I agree with Cornbread. I agree with all you guys, T-Fishes. I just hope that if the inside linebacker tight end rooms are struggling, Sean George will be aggressive this trade deadline. I will say that if the team is where we think they are going to be later in the year, and we have to get through this first 6 games, at least 500 in those first 6 games. If we can do that, and then we're in that, in that fight for the number one, we're making the playoffs, right? Unless everything goes off the rails. We're going to be in the playoffs, but where in the playoffs? We're going to play at home. We're going to be fighting for that first seed from a few teams. If the tight end rooms are struggling and it's because of the players, I hope they do. And that inside linebacker room does scare me. Like, if you're thinking about weaknesses on the team, where else is the weakness besides the tight end group and the inside linebacker group? Like, I don't think there are any. It's not special teams. I know that some people love Lutz and some people hate him. I love him. Like, don't forget, he missed some balls last year, but he also won. A lot of those games were like, Bo gets us into field goal range, and then Lutz has to make the kick to win it, and then he won it. So I'm a big fan of his. Crawshaw's an all-pro. The long snapper, Probroni. He's great. But, like, we don't have any weaknesses there. The cornerback room, like, a luxury of riches there. Yeah, I mean, talk about Chris Abrams' drain. Jade Barron, we'll see. But you've got a great room there. You got a great safety room. Hufanga and Jones. There's no weaknesses on this team other than the tight end room and the inside linebacker room. And those are the 2 rooms. And there's your overtime, Chief Fishes. Thank you for that. So what's your floor ceiling? Talking about win-loss. I think my floor is 10 wins and my ceiling is 14. I actually did this. I actually went through and did the schedule a few times. And if it was earlier, if this was earlier, I would have brought that up and we could have done that together on this show, just to do it again. We'll do it again before the season for sure. But a lot of times I'll do it live on the show. We'll pick the games. We have a great site for doing that. Makes it a lot of fun and easy. So I think the floor is 10 wins. I don't see them losing. I think their over-under is 9.5. I think it's about the right spot. I think they win 10 games, health-wise, if, always with the caveat that everybody stays healthy. But I've actually gone through that season several times, and I know I'm a homer, but I've had them win 14 several times that I've gone to it. I've had to talk myself down to like 12 because things go wrong. So I think probably 12-5 or 13-4. Yeah. That 17 game schedule is never going to work for me in my brain. Yeah. I mean, I know. And Davis Webb says he wants to use them. So let's wait till the season. Now, they've been doing it in practice, Cornbread, right? They've been using them in practice. They're not doing it in the game. Ingram was wide open on a few plays last week, by the way. And he was chip blocking again. So maybe they will. They did hit Troutman for a first down. Yeah, depth. So depth is a concern in a few places, but I'm just talking about like the starting roster is really good. That starting roster of the inside linebacker room and the tight end group does not impress me right now. But yeah, depth is a concern at safety. Obviously, that was why they signed Rapp. I don't think it's an issue. I apologize, guys. I'm drinking all the water I can. Coverage, not returner. Yeah, maybe. Don't forget in the preseason though, they're just putting all kinds of rookies out there, and same for this one. The offseason always going to be like that. And even though we're not, like, special teams were okay last year. Like, once the season got going, they actually did fine. I expect them to do that right. Right within the first week or two of the season. Like, special teams they'll find their groove, and Rizzi will get them going. But let's hope we don't get slow start to them. And Vic says 12-5 sounds about right. Yeah, probably. Jay says, could we miss the playoffs with 10 wins? I mean, possibly, but I doubt it. I think 10 wins gets you in. It usually does. It's very rare that 10 wins doesn't get you in the playoffs, but then you're going on the road. We can play on the road, but we win at home. Bo Nix is really tough to beat at home, to be honest with you. Yeah, we need to see something from these guys. I wonder if Rapp will play a little bit this week. Did he even dress last week? I forgot to even look that up. I didn't see a snap count for him. But I was looking at other ones. Jolie got a lot of snap count last week. Bentley did too, but they're not getting any run yet. And this could be one thing that they are hiding till the regular season. So we'll wait and see. Don't forget, it's preseason games, right? In preseason games, and I'm not soapboxing you guys, I swear, but I do like to say in preseason, watch individual performances, like what a player does, like scheme wise, and there's just not a lot to take. Like, I don't really care that the Packers marched down the field and scored on their first. Like, we're just running like a base 3-4 or whatever, 5-2 or whatever they were running. They're not really running any sort of scheme. But I hate the fact that Alex Singleton is standing in the back of the end zone while a running back is covered by Tillman, Lloyd, and Marshawn Lloyd just walks into the end zone. Like, what the hell are you even looking at? That's like football 101. Like, you left 7 yards of end zone in front of you open. Like, what are you doing in the back of the end zone? Like, we'll see. We'll see what they do in the regular season, T-Fishes. But I mean, we all need to see something. Oh, great. Now the chat's going off again. 2.5 hours in. Last question. It doesn't say last question, but it should. Prior to the last Broncos preseason game, who do you want to see more of? I want to see Manjack. I want to see Red Murdoch. I want to see Torian York. I want to see Bentley and Jolie do something. Pretty much the same stuff all you guys want to see. And of course, I want to see everybody healthy. I want to know that Mims is healthy for the regular season. Yes, Austin. He is still going to have a breakout season, smartass. Check out West War Room Rivals, by the way, on YouTube. Another great show to watch. Represented by every team on the AFC West. And then you get to hear them, get to learn something about the competition out there. So a couple of great hosts. Corey was just on from that show, and he's great. And Jay Weaver from Orange and Blue Network. Katzis is the future at returner, probably. And I would say that I agree with that. Hope he makes the practice squad at minimum. Cornbread has been screaming about better QB2s this season. It will not be easy. And there's going to be some options out there. I mean, it's just depending on what they want to invest in it. Now, you want to talk about a weakness. Now, I know I talked about inside linebacker and tight end. That backup quarterback position, I'm officially on the that scares me group. So G-Man is about to get us out of here. What? No, I have to get this out here. Mike is a legend. Thank you. Is this Austin or Corey? I want to know who's sending this from West Warren. I'm assuming this Austin, which is going to mean even more to me because Corey's been on the show. Austin will be on the show. Hopefully I get you on before the Chiefs play, if that's you. Before we play the Chiefs, because you are the Chiefs guy for for West Warren Rivals. But I want to know if this is Austin, because I've never had a Chiefs fan say that I'm a legend or that this is a great Broncos channel. I think it has to be Austin because it said Broncos channel. This might be the best discussion podcast that you've ever had. What the hell is going on out there? Do I have to do this all the time now? These solo shows. I'm going to have to get I think they make this special tea or something that you can drink so that your throat, that singers use and all day radio guys use so that they don't lose their voice on the show. Because this is 2.5 hours straight. And I don't have Colin in here talking, so it's all me. So, because we paid him. I am a paid legend now. Quit pumping up Mike's ego, Vic says. That's me. Big ego Mike. No, I'm putting that up there. I'm going to screenshot that. Hang on a second. Let's do a screenshot. Now, this is where it gets good. Let me see if I can. I got a point in the right. Wait, let me try it with his hand. So you're going to see that on. Yeah. Okay. I'll post that on Twitter later. Because I'm stupid like that. All right. You did pay me. Cornbread. Thanks to all the monsters. Thanks to Vic for showing up. Fernando and Cornbread and T-Fishes for paying for this extra freaking hour and whatever it was. Thank you for that. The new lights are going to be great. Hopefully I get them set up by Monday night. They're supposed to arrive on Monday. So looking forward to that. I'm excited for it. Thanks to everybody that showed out. What a great show, man. I could do this all day with the right like lemon water drink or something, or maybe like throat lozenge. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to start chewing gum. That would be annoying. But again, thanks for everybody coming in. Please like the stream. It does. Oh my God. For the extra 10 minutes you gave us, now go with your wife so I can go hang out with mine. Denver Broncos for life. Yeah. Thanks, T-Fishes. I appreciate it. The extra 10 minutes it's a joy. I honestly, I know that you guys I do need the support. Trust me, because even though she brings me water, she's gonna, when the lights show up, she'll be like, how much did those cost? That conversation. And then she'll see what it costs because she does the money. And then she sees this. And so it means the world to me. But yeah. No, this is a blast, man. I try to never walk away from a chat, but invariably whenever I thank everybody and then I reach up for the end stream button and I hit it, and then it's like really end. And then as soon as I hit it, there's like this 3-second delay where I see 2 chats show up and I always miss them. And there's nothing I can do about it because once you hit end the stream, there's no going back. So no, now I'm going, I'm a man of my word. I got to go 6 more minutes now. So now we're going to 10 to 1:40. So you can't pay me. You can't back pay me for the team at 10 minutes, but I thank you for that. Cornbread with the star. What is this? Wisdom and humor goes a long way. When you get old, like me, the people start saying you're wise. And it doesn't have to be true. But if you have gray hair, this is all like, this is not coming back. But like the salt and pepper, like what's left of the color of my hair, this is why they start to think you're wise and you can get away with it. So thank you. Humor, that's in the eye of the beholder. Some people think I'm hilarious. Most people think I'm an idiot. But the wisdom thing is fun now because like I'm like the old Obi-Wan Kenobi now. So I get to be the old guy. So yes, the Podfather. I forgot about Jay. Jay named me the Podfather. Was that like 2 years ago, dude? That was the funniest thing. And so it stuck. Oh, so it was Corey. It was Corey from the Rivals page. I would never. Austin, man, that's hilarious. You have to. So this is Austin now, and you have to come on for the Chiefs week. So let's reserve that. I want to have you on with me and David, either before or after the Chiefs game. So let's work that out. Thanks, Mike. Have a great week, fam, and to the chat as well. Thanks for coming in, Grandizer. Appreciate you helping move the comments along. Again, you guys make this so fun for me. I love doing this. My wife's probably like, "What are you doing out there? What is your realistic dream move if you were GM?" For frick's sake. You didn't put a time on there. What time do I owe you now? All right, so now it'll be 3 Central. Okay, we got to go to 3 Central. Man, it would have been one of the big tight ends at this offseason. Or it would have been for like, I thought there were some really good linebackers out there earlier in the offseason. Would have been a dream move for me. And I want to hear your guys's too, because now we're in here. So and we're in here until 3 Central, 2 Mountain. Thanks to Cornbread. Lisa, can a girl hear me? I hope she can hear me. Your husband just spent another $20. I hope she knows that. I hope you get in trouble for it. Hope you pay. I hope you pay for that super chat. Yes, Austin, you will have to be on with David. Has he been on your show yet? You got to work that out. I think David's probably watching right now, wondering what the hell is Mike doing going on 2.5 hours. Now it's going to be a 3-hour show. And I'm probably gonna have to cut you guys off at 3 hours. Okay, so don't send any more money because I'm about to run out of this water. More viewers are coming in as you're getting ready. I know that's the other thing too. Now we're at our highest point of viewership, and so now I kind of have to say. So you told him to send it. Okay. All right. So got to set myself up to be able to. Now, are you watching or are you just working and he's watching? Because it sounds like it's funny. These two guys watch this show. One will be in one room and one will be in the other room watching it. And then Cornbread sends a super. And I just picture his wife being like, hey, because that's what would happen in my house. My wife would be like, what are you doing? Oh, you're watching. So she's watching. All right. This is like crack. It's addicting. But you get to keep your teeth. And or is that meth? I can't keep them. I can't keep my drugs straight. Like, I don't know which crack is the cocaine that you smoke. And then, yeah, never mind. Don't do drugs, kids. So say no to drugs. There goes my monetization. All right. You guys kill me. All right. So GM move. Look, this room, I appreciate the question. I would have done something in that tight end room, honestly. I mean, I know they drafted 2, but Jolie was the only one that had like some pre-draft swag to him. I think Dolan Bentley was a good looking, but I think there were opportunities to upgrade that room. I think they did a great job in the running back room, so I'm no longer calling for, because don't forget, in the offseason, we were calling for like every free agent running back we wanted to sign them. We wanted to trade for running backs. We were willing to give up a lot. But now Coleman, he's the guy. I'm sure of it. I've never felt so good about this late of a draft pick running back as I have about Coleman. A lot for a proper running back besides JK. RJ's great. He's our weapon. I would have tried another Greenlaw move. It's weird that I said this earlier, that we went and got Greenlaw last year. He was our big addition. And then we send him back this year and we just promote the guy that was third stringer last year. And like, we had these guys last year and we brought in Greenlaw and it didn't work out. And then we just go with these guys this year without evidence that's going to be better. That's just weird to me. So that would be, I hope that answers your question about what I would do, as the GM. I would find a new backup. Ingram's going to have a good year. Oh, that's what I've been saying, Vic. That was my little hot takes that I brought. Like, I did make 10 predictions this season. I don't have them in front of me, but I can get them since I now owe Cornbread another 20 minutes. Where did I put that? I thought I had that in here. I probably won't be able to find it though. But they were. I wanted to put it up on the screen so you guys could see it. But they were, Ingram having a breakout season was one of them. And then I've got like Bo throws for more than 4,000 yards. J.K. stays healthy. There was a lot of stuff like that. But Ingram was one of those that Ingram was going to break out this year. And I think they want him to. But I think they want to run the ball more too. And, what is it Tyson said? Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. I think it was Tyson that said that, right? Like, I think they generally and genuinely want to do that. I think they want to have Ingram have a big season, the tight end position have a good season. But whether they can actually pull it off, I don't know. But that's one of my predictions, is that they do. And by the way, Caleb Lohner was one of my picks. I think it was like number 8, my hot prediction or whatever. And don't forget, this is like back in March or whatever, that Lohner would have an impact or something like that. So I've already X'd that one off. So I got 1 wrong out of 10 so far. We'll see how the rest of them go. Pardon this. I'm going to mute. I tried to mute. I couldn't get there in time. Sorry. Cornbread says, I absolutely love Ingram, but I'm telling you, if he drops the ball, Jolie won't. I know. He did have a lot of drops last year, and I do love him. It's hard to stay in a game when you're getting 1 target every 12 minutes and you were open on the first 5 routes and they didn't even look at you. Don't forget, Bo Nix only threw to him when the play was designed to go to him. He never found him later when he was open. So I'm not making excuses for Ingram. I guess I am. I'm making excuses. I shouldn't do that, but I am kind of making excuses for him. Yeah, it's a stretch. That was my hot pick. I think that was hot pick number 1 or 2. So JK plays 17 games. All right, smack. So here's the reason why I made that. All his injuries have been like freak injuries. They're like always something different, always something freaky. It's copium and it's hopium, but knock on wood, I'm right. Now that we have Coleman, I think we can spell him and rest him more and keep him healthy for the postseason. Be interesting if the Broncos do that. I kind of hope they do. With RJ and Coleman, I think you can get away with keeping him healthy, playing him less. And, he's not old, but he has had a lot of injuries. It would be nice to have him for the playoff stretch. And so then you're not saying staying healthy is a stretch. We're keeping him for the playoff stretch, which I think would be awesome. But yeah, I know you're right. And hey, I hit one again. So, but they have been odd injuries with him. And so I put it out in the universe for JK to be healthy for 17 seasons. And if I'm wrong, you will hear it here first. You'll know it, because if he goes out, then you'll go, oh, Carmellini, he was wrong. Look, it's not a to make a prediction that's just like so obvious, anybody can do that. So yeah, I went out online here. Okay. Just checking these messages on the side. It's crazy. I'm getting messages from other text messages from other content creators that are like, what are you doing? You've been on there for 3 hours. And there's one of them, Jay, go Jonah. So Jay is the president of the Jonah Coleman fan club, and I'm on the board now. So I'm a board member, chairman. I think I'm chairman of the board. He's the president. CEO. We don't have a CFO. We have a CEO, and it's Jay Weaver from Orange and Blue Network. But I thought you left. My apologies if too early, but with the Broncos playing the Vikings in the last preseason game, was there a draft prospect that Vicks drafted that you wish the Broncos drafted, a prospect you really love? No. I don't think so. Did they draft a running back that I liked? Ooh, they may have. They may have done something. It sure wasn't McCarthy in 2024. I want to say that for some reason, I think the Vikings did take somebody I liked last year, but I can't remember. I've totally spaced all that and moved on. 12 games for Dobbins. Martin finally in here. 3 hours in, Martin shows up. Good to see you, buddy. the last injury for JK doesn't seem as severe as some that he's had. He's going to have a big year. He's certainly going to have his chances. That Liz Frank injury is always a dangerous one for running backs. Never happy to have a running back that has a Liz Frank. But that was just that was a horse collar tackle. It should have been a 15-yard penalty. And lucky that they didn't get that, but that was a freak energy. Yeah, I think you're, getting nicked up here a little bit. If they save him, all right, work with me here. If they say, JK's, he's got a little tight quad or something, or that's not what I'm talking about. Like, I know 17, I just mean that he's available all 17 games. Like, you know what, losing him for the season. Like, if they sit him for a game or two, like they do anybody else, fine. I'm happy with that. And I'll take the L if you guys want me to, but that's literally what I mean, is that he's around for the whole season. If they don't play him in a couple weeks, like, a lot of players are not going to play this game or that game. I'm fine with that, as long as it's just like, rest, or like more of a rest week. We've got Jonah. We don't need to beat him up for that. As long as you understand, we could have gotten Coleman at 82, Mike Washington at 108, and still hit every target. Don't remind me, dude. Yeah, Mike Washington still. That's one that, it's another one. Some of us go to church. Some of us do go to church, and I'm one of them. So I'm just getting home. Thanks for checking in. Appreciate you being here. Right now, ours is on Saturdays because we don't have enough priests for so we rotate. Yeah, that's a fact. So you did it. What are you checking? This? That would have been our room. What's statistically a fact? See, this is what you do to me. Canner girl, go over and whack him on the head for me for giving me another chat that references something that we've moved on from. So, all right, guys, look, no more supers. Do not keep me here any longer. This was a great show. This was probably my favorite. It almost feels like I've done two shows. I did my weekend show with Colin, which I love doing. And then now I've done a solo show on top of that. So now I think I can take the rest of the day off, right? I don't need to come back and do another show tonight. I can go do whatever chores. I will be back all week on Believe, of course. And then Wednesday with David, we'll be on. We'll update the 53 for sure, and see who's playing. Has anybody heard anything on Riley Moss? I still have not. I told everybody not to expect an update on Riley until Monday or Tuesday at the earliest. But a little concerning that they took him right from the tent right into the locker room. Hopefully he's okay. If anybody's heard anything, let me know before we get out of here. It looks like the chat is done. Nobody's in the chat. Still got a ton of people watching. Please hit the like button. I can't see how many people have hit it. I hope it's quite a few. Who is my special guest, so I can know if I should rewind the thing and watch? Oh, does it say special guest? Well, Colin Cronin was a special guest today. And the chat was the other special guest. Colin was on today. So from Dublin, my Irish doctor of football was on. He's always the best, and he is a special guest. If you know who that is, if you haven't watched those, I'm sure you have, Martin. And by the way, we are shooting for 11. So 11 Central, probably every Sunday now when the season starts, so that we'll be on before we all sit down and watch the game. So hopefully you guys will be able to tune in every weekend for the weekend edition. Yeah, he's awesome. He is the best. Honestly, he's like the smartest football dude. Like, I don't have to be smart when he's on. I just got to ask him the right questions. Moss trained hard. I'm praying he's good because you could immediately see it in his play. Well, he sure does look good, doesn't he? Contract year, he's fighting for a contract. J-Mac and he are, what are you going to do? You can keep them both? So look like a rib strain or something. I hope that's all it is. He can rest, be ready to play at Kansas City. We need to beat Kansas City in that first game, and I think we do. But we'll do that. We'll do that next time. Maybe we'll go through we'll do a schedule. I'll do a solo this week. Watch on Twitter. Hit your notifications if you haven't, so you know. But I don't schedule my solo shows. I fit those in when I can. When I'm doing 5, 6, 7 days a week. It's hard to figure out when I'm free to do a solo show, but that's like what we're doing right here. That's the ones where I like let you guys. We'll do open mic, we'll do schedule, we'll do 53, we'll do all that. We get to do whatever we want. I'll try and do one of those this week. Certainly before we have the regular season kicks off, and we'll do that schedule. We'll do our official schedule and our official 53. So we'll make that happen. Moss is a corner one on any team, any other team probably. He's going to get a big paycheck. I mean, there's no doubt about that. And he deserves it. I don't see the Broncos paying him to keep him. I think they probably keep J-Mac. But anything could change. I think they wanted Jahdae Barron to take one of those spots, and he hasn't been able to do it. So this is a good problem to have. And it's a problem for next year. Let's go win a Super Bowl, right, guys? That's what we need to do. That's why I got to keep my eyes on the prize. All these roster moves and stuff, we should be getting past that. But it's still preseason, and there's a couple spots. This isn't one of them I'm worried about. But let's do it. Let's end it with this beautiful comment from our Canner girl. It says, "Have a good week. See you all here next time. Hi to the wife from me, Heart." I'm sure she'll say hi right back to you, Teresa. We'll do that. I know, because she's like sweetheart like you are. So, everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for coming in. Please hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't. We love having you on here. Thanks. Special shout out to, I've already done it like 5 times now, but all you monsters, thank you for coming in. Thank you for the supers. You guys are the best. I can't thank you enough. New lights coming in on Monday. Go Broncos. We'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks for the record-beating stream. This is it. This is the longest stream of my life. You've just had it. So thanks for that. We'll talk again soon. Take care.